Hello, hello, hello. We're back at it again, folks.
It's
Welcome back to Horror Cinema Obsession. My host is really excited about this one. She's already trying to cut in. How is my beautiful co-host, Angelus?
it's fucking August. That's what I wanted to say.
August, hot ass August.
Where's
Sweet.
the summer going?
I don't know,
We haven't done
but I like
anything.
it.
I don't like it.
My name's Richard, by the way. I'm the second host.
And I'm Uncleus.
I know. You're
Hello,
my beautiful co-host.
everyone.
What was I calling you? My little amiga.
Amiguita. And then you went into mantequilla. I don't know how we got there.
Butter. Margarine.
I'm just making shit up.
Ooey, ooey, ooh.
Ice, ice, ice.
So anyways, yes, it is hotter than the devil's prostate out here. Got 106 today. Ooh wee. And this bunker is burning up.
Sizzling your prostate.
Yeah, it's like a hardcore sizzle, man. You can hear it. It's going to take a little bit to like get this out of the background noise.
That's what the smell is.
I know, I'm sorry. Gosh.
I'm kidding.
But no, how's your week been?
It's been good. It's better.
Better. That's good since last week. How, anything eventful happening? Anything great?
Anything eventful and great?
Mm-hmm. We're a step closer to getting our new bunker.
Yeah. Our new hideout space.
Yeah, I'm fucking stoked.
You're stoked?
Yep. It's fortified. I don't know how we're going to get an internet connection because it's going to have like 10-foot thick concrete. Super bunker proof, man. It's crazy.
It'll be cool. Like if it's that thick.
I know the coolness won't be it, but the reception.
Oh.
It'll be kind of crazy.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure we can just reach out to like those people that go off the grid and figure out how to stay in contact with the world.
Yeah.
Those
Doomsday preppers. I feel like a lot of people who hunt Bigfoot do that too, but
they prep for the end of the world.
Yeah.
This movie's about the end of the world.
Oh my God, perfect segue.
Oh my God.
So, what movie are we covering this week?
Dun, dun, dun. Because everybody asked for this. And by everybody, it means Angeles.
That's okay. That's okay. You're pretty excited. What movie is it?
Dia de la Bestia, the Day of the Beast.
All right. So this gem I remember stumbling upon. It's on Shudder
And Tubi.
And Tubi, but Shudder mainly. So this little beauty we stumbled upon, I just happened to put it on. I'm like, oh, we need background noise or whatever. And I was chilling at her house. And I'm like, dude, I can't understand Spanish. Everybody's speaking Spanish. So I'm going to put on a TV show that's Spanish. At least has subtitles. But anyways, I put it on and then your dad was back there. He watched a little bit, but as soon as the cross like crushed the guy, he's out. Done. He's like, oh, and then didn't say anything, but I think he lost a little respect for me at that moment.
How dare you put fucking scary movies?
I didn't know. I was like, oh, I thought it was family friendly.
Shudder is family friendly since when?
It said it was a comedy, so I'm like, okay.
It is a comedy. I thought it was pretty funny.
I felt bad, but that being said, when he left, you sat down, you started watching it, and I could see, like, over time, like, I was on my phone kind of fucking around listening or watching the subtitles. You slowly gravitated, and then pretty soon you're fixated on the movie.
I was tired, but I was like, oh my God, I need to keep watching this.
But it perked you up. You're like, oh, this is funny. I'm like, I don't get the humor was lost on me the first time watching it. I didn't know what was going on, the context, until he explained it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, now I kind of see. I thought they were doing weird shit, but I was like, that's kind of weird, but okay, different time, different place.
1995, set in Spain.
Yeah. So that was pretty awesome. That being said, I kind of think I know where you're going with your opinion on this movie, but how'd you feel about it? You've watched it, what, twice now? 3 times?
I watched it twice, and then the first time that we watched a chunk of it, not all of it.
Yeah, so 3 times?
3 times.
How do you feel about it?
I really liked it. I like this movie. I think for its time, it was ahead of its time with the dark comedy. The theme that the movie takes place in, the time that the movie takes place in, it was pushing it.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think it's pretty good. I do think it was ahead of its time with the dark humor.
Yeah.
I love that. I honestly, I think it was right on par with some of that dark humor that was coming out in the mid 90s. We were
Yeah.
starting to gravitate towards that, but they went really extreme.
Yeah.
And then just, I thought that was funny when it came out Christmas Eve. What better day to release a satanic movie like this, the Day of the Beast? I mean, that's great. In a super religious place like Spain or in areas like that where religion is still heavy and prominent.
Yeah.
Like to do that, the balls you got to have, the cojones to have. What is it? The conchitos?
You made that word up. I still have not found a translation.
Conchitos.
Richard says conchitos means testicles. I need someone
or
to come
huevos.
forward.
But no, I thought, so I do have one thing, and maybe talking about it at length will change my mind. But this movie, it's only an hour and 43 minutes. But hot dog, it felt like it was 3 hours. But it could have been when we were watching it because I felt so tired. I was falling asleep. So every time I tried to watch it, I fell asleep and I'd have to watch the ending at a different point. Like I'd have to wake up and rewind. I'm like, fuck, this movie's not over yet, but I missed a bunch.
I feel like it slows down at the end a little bit.
It does. It loses its steam where it picks up in the middle. But it's a finesse because this movie there isn't in reality a whole lot going on. Like there's stuff going on, but then it's not. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like it's a lot of talking, but not a whole lot of action.
Yeah.
It's limited with you can tell it's limited with kind of the makeup and the effects.
Yeah.
So they really try to make up for it with the comedy and like the script.
Mm-hmm.
But then you lose a lot, and I feel like it drags a little bit there. But that being said, I enjoy the movie for the most part. The ending could have been changed a little bit, could have sped up, changed it. I would have altered it just a tad, but I think it was an incredible job for 1995.
His second movie too.
Second movie, yeah. So 1995, I did pull up the top 3 grossing movies of that year. Let me know if you've seen any of them.
Okay.
First one, it grossed $191.8 million domestically, and it was a pioneering animated film. 2 best friends, Woody and Buzz.
Oh my
Toy Story.
Lord.
Wah, 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 wah. Dude, I can fuck with Toy Story. That's a good one.
You got a friend in me, Richard.
Dude, Ernest is in it. He's the Slinky.
Oh.
Yeah, I love Ernest. Have you ever watched any of the Ernest, like Ernest Saves Christmas or Ernest Halloween or Ernest Goes to Jail? Have you seen any of those?
No.
Oh, okay. You know what I mean, Vern? That's his catchphrase.
Mm-mm.
Oh.
I don't
I'll
know
have to
what
show
you're
it to you.
talking about.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't if you were not from here, because... Yeah.
Thanks, fucking foreigner.
That's not a bad thing, but Ernest is fucking dope. Just saying.
You know what else was dope?
What?
El Chavo del Ocho. La Chilindrina. Just saying.
Oh, I love those. Those are classics.
They're like amazing idols.
Yeah. One's like in a bee outfit, isn't he?
No.
Oh. Never mind.
One lives in a barrel sometimes.
Oh.
He's a little homeless child.
Cool, sad. The second one grossed $184 million domestically. Val Kilmer starred in it. Do you know the movie? It had Nicole Kidman, Tommy Lee Jones, Jim Carrey. It was massive.
The Mask.
Close.
No.
It was colorful and flamboyant, like The Mask, but no, Batman Forever.
Oh.
That's a good one.
No.
And then the third one, I know you won't get this one, but Ron Howard directed it.
Are you effing kidding me?
Our boy, Tom Hanks. Oh, an even bigger one of our boys for sure, Kevin Bacon. That you've become well-known, well-versed with. Remember when you didn't know who Kevin Bacon was?
I'm not going to tell you.
No, go ahead.
No.
Let's hear it.
Go on.
No, let's hear it. You can't just tease.
I have this fucking image burning in my head because after you gave me shit about Kevin Bacon, I was like, oh yeah, I know who that is. And there's a movie of him. We talked about this movie before on Netflix. I can't remember the name right now. There's these 2 girls. He's like supposed to be, he's in it. There's another dude. He's a teacher. It's more on the horror genre adjacent. But there's a scene, and here comes Kevin out of the shower, butt naked, with his schlong just swinging around. I was like, "What the fuck
I
is
don't
happening?"
think that's Kevin Bacon.
It is.
No, Google it. I don't think
Google
that's
the
Kevin.
movie.
I don't think I've ever seen Kevin Bacon's wiener.
I saw it.
I don't think, and I've seen a lot of his movies. I don't know if I've ever seen that.
Okay.
And he was in Hollow Man, and he gets pretty naked because he's invisible.
We talked about this last time, and then you were like, admitted that I was right because.
Anyways, another actor that's in this is Bill Paxton, and it grossed 117 million domestically. Do you want to guess what the movie is?
Who's in it?
And it has to do with space, and it's a true story.
I don't know.
Apollo.
Here, Wild Things. It has Naive.
Apollo 13 is the movie.
It has Neve Campbell.
He doesn't get naked in that.
Richard's gonna be watching some Kevin Bacon wiener tonight.
I've seen Wild Things. I don't think I've ever seen his wiener in it. Maybe, but then again, maybe because I only watched that on TV. Like it was always on network TV.
Yeah, he plays like cop, I think, at one point, and he just comes on and he's just talking to this dude, just standing there naked. And I was like,
full
what the?
Hung, just free.
I was like,
free
why
balling?
are we still standing here naked?
Okay, cool,
But, yeah.
fascinating. Cool. What is that? 80 degrees of Kevin Bacon or whatever?
I don't know. That's a thing?
I don't know. So yeah, top grossing movies: Toy Story, Batman Forever, Apollo 13.
Thank you. Thank
Now,
you very much.
I do have a thorough list of horror movies that came out in 1995.
Thorough?
And I know you've got a list. Is it as thorough as mine?
No, because I just hot went and grabbed top.
Okay, I was like going on the far lengths of the web to find this stuff.
Are you effing kidding me?
But no, go ahead. Let's hear yours.
I have Halloween, The Curse of Michael.
With Paul Rudd, baby. I believe that's the one.
Yep. And we have Species.
Okay.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Next Generation.
Ooh-wee.
Candyman, The Fear, Hideaway, Lord of Illusions, Children of the Corn 3, Leprechaun 3, Grim, Congo, Piranha. I think that's the Piranha that I was talking about that I've seen. And then I have Monster Mash.
Okay. Well, I got Castle Freak, Carnosaur 2, Candyman 2, Farewell to the Flesh, Blood and Donuts. I've actually seen that one. It's stupid. The Haunting of Helen Walker, The Howling, New Moon Rising, which we got to do a werewolf movie. We got to do it.
Movie.
Bad Moon. I want to do Bad Moon. It's on Shudder. I got Ice Cream Man. That's Ron Howard's brother. Stars in that. And then The Mangler and Mosquito's a good one. And Tokyo Fist. I've got more, but I don't have to ramble on.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what movie? I got for a family though?
What?
This one was big in my household at the time growing up. I fucking love this movie. My brother loved this movie. My sister loved this movie. Came out in 1995. Casper. Was that big? Was that big in Mexico at all?
I don't know.
Like I remember when they did the live action version.
Yeah, with
Macaulay Culkin was the ghost.
Oh, that was him?
I think it was. But then our girl Wednesday,
Christina
Ricci, baby. I had the biggest crush on her growing up.
She's pretty cute.
I know. And then Bill Pullman was the dad. I just love that movie. It was great. I remember McDonald's you could get they had special ghosts, like all the ghosts, and they're like hand puppets. They're fucking dope, dude.
Did you save any of them?
No, I was stupid. I think I buried them. Like I told you,
with your fucking
all my Ninja Turtles, guys. I would have a huge collection of Ninja Turtles right now. I had every single toy, and I buried them in the backyard. And then I think my dad or my stepdad or whatever went and tilled the backyard and just destroyed all of them. But it's not his fault. He didn't realize I buried those 20 years ago.
You creep.
Or 25 years ago, whatever. I had to have been like 8.
Wow. Your freaking parents' backyard. No, I don't remember it being big in Mexico, the live action movie. But when I did watch it, in the United States of America.
It blew your socks off.
Oh, I fucking watched that movie on repeat.
I did too. And then it fooled me. It was so good. The first one I bought, or for my birthday, I got Casper 2.
There's a 2
Yeah.
live action?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one, it's Casper meets Wendy. What a piece of shit that movie was.
It sounds familiar. I never watched it.
It wasn't very good. Wendy, I didn't like her. She was kind of annoying.
Yeah.
And actually, you know who Wendy was? Lizzie McGuire.
Oh.
Hillary Duff, dude. I didn't know that.
Hillary.
Yeah, so, I mean, she's not a bad person, but it was a terrible movie, and I did not appreciate it, and I got it for my birthday, and I was so let down because I, like, demanded. I was like, I want this for my birthday.
Damn, you little drama.
I know, but I didn't demand it, but I was like, it'd be really cool if you guys got me this. And then everybody looked at me like, you wanted that? Wow, loser.
Yeah, I think Casper was like a comfort movie. We had it on VHS and just kept watching it over and over and over and over.
Yeah, we burned through the VHS, and then whenever it was on TV too, we owned the movie, but we'd watch it on TV as well.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we'd watch it. It was like, it was Casper, Jumanji, Mortal Kombat, and there's another movie that was always on TNT, but we'd watch them all the time. Oh, Billy Madison.
Oh.
And then another Chris Farley movie. God damn it. The one that's like, Richard.
No.
Oh, God damn it. Why am I drawing a blank on that?
Richard.
You know what I'm talking about?
No. But that's how I'm going to say your name now. Richard.
God damn
McFarland?
No, Chris Farley. Tommy Boy. God fucking damn it, guys.
I like Tommy Boy.
Light me up. I should have known that right on the spot. That's one of my all-time favorite comedies.
Your hero, Jake Gyllenhaal.
What?
Is it not him? Oh, I'm thinking Waterboy.
What? Jake Gyllenhaal isn't Waterboy either.
Yeah, he is.
No, he's not.
Who the?
Adam Sandler.
Oh, no. Bubble Boy.
Oh, yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, that was 2000.
Boy movies.
I was about, dude, I couldn't remember the name. You're saying wrong actors. Guys, if you're new to this, so we're getting a lot of new listeners. So if you're new to this, we do not make this kind of mistake all the time.
Yes, it does.
I forget sometimes, but we'll get to the movie, I promise you. But yeah, sometimes we go on little, we open tabs, so to speak. So we'll close this tab. Jake Gyllenhaal was not in Tommy Boy.
Damn it.
But David Spade, our boy, we seen him last year at the casino.
Yes.
Yeah, he was funny, wasn't he?
He was.
I enjoyed it.
The venue was not nice, though.
No. Anyways, getting back to it.
Back to La Bestia.
Day of the motherfucking beast. Also, I wanted one of our listeners made a comment about I made a comment about fans inviting us to their party.
Listeners?
Yeah, listeners inviting us to the party, and I do go. So if you invite me, I will. You guys invited me to your kiddo's birthday party. I do fly private, so I'm a little pricey. So, but I would love to come party down with you guys. I think how old was he?
He's turning 8.
Yeah, 8 years old. What a year.
What a year.
Yep. So definitely looking forward to it. We can negotiate the price or whatever for travel and food, but I'm sure you guys provide great food too. So I'm down to party.
Richard will learn some special Fortnite dances to dance with the birthday kiddo.
Fortnite.
That's the theme of the birthday party.
Oh, shit. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest, I don't know what Fortnite is.
It's a video game, but they do a lot of dances.
Oh.
Some cool, dope-ass dances, Richard.
Oh, okay. Cool. I'm down with that. So I just want to address that. Also, while we're talking about it, before we get back into the movie, the pace of the movie.
We're out of the movie again.
No, a little bit of business side of things. Our Instagram, social media. Today was the first day of our giveaway, so we're recording this Friday night. We just released this morning our giveaway. Please participate. Pretty easy. Just like the post.
Follow our socials.
Yep. And then
tag your friends.
Yeah, tag your friends. And then we'll enter in, and remember, the more people you tag, you get more of
more entries.
Yeah, more entries. So it's a pretty cool thing. And do you want to explain the prizes they get?
You get a copy of the Friday the 13th Part 7, New Blood.
Mm-hmm.
Script signed by the actors.
Well, no. So you get the VHS tape, Friday the 7th.
Oh my God. I
Friday
have
the
to go in
13th, Part
order.
7, New Blood. And then you get the script, the original script with all the original cast autographs. And then to top it off, just to add a little bit of flavor on top of that cake, you get Kane Hodder signed picture of Jason Voorhees in Friday the 13th, Part 7, New Blood.
I have a question.
His first role as Jason.
I have a question.
What's up?
Why the hell did you ask me to explain the prices? And then you fucking...
I knew you'd fuck it up.
No! I didn't know there was an order to this.
Well, you were kind of you were making it sound like the script was Part 7. You're kind of... You muffed the cake. That's...
No, I didn't. It's the Friday the 13th, Part 7 package.
Yep. Extravaganza.
Extravaganza.
Jason Palooza. We're ready to go. We're ready to rock and go. Roll. Thank you again for the amazing downloads and all the followers. You guys are amazing, truly. You guys hit us up all the time. We interact as much as we can. It's fun. So y'all are great.
Keep sending Richard messages and give him a hard time. It's very entertaining for me.
Oh my God. It's entertaining for me too.
Yeah.
Also...
Oh my gosh.
No.
How many more fucking tabs do you have?
No, we can close the tabs. Well, let's go back to the movie. So how did you feel about the cast?
Dude, the cast was freaking... I like them.
Do you want to go through it? Because I don't want to butcher these guys' names.
No way.
And I only know one actor out of this movie.
Who do you know?
Santiago Segura. Because he was in Blade.
Oh,
I remember that.
I see. So first of all, we have to top off the round of the cast. We have Alex Angulo, who plays Angel Berriatua. He's the priest.
He's hilarious.
And everybody keeps referring to him as the cura. He's been active since 1981.
Wow.
I did see when I was looking through, he's worked with the director on a couple of other movies as well. Some of the movies that I saw for him are Acción Mutante, Mutant Action, which was directed by Alex de la Iglesia, who was the director.
Mm-hmm.
He was in another movie called Sexo Pro Compasión, and that came out in 2000. Poseso.
So is he a horror kind of guy?
I think it looks like some of his stuff. He was kind of all over. There was another movie called Brujas, Witches. He was in Pan's Labyrinth. I remember him there.
Dude, I don't remember seeing him in that.
He was, I can't remember the role. He was like a doctor. He was a doctor in Pan's
fucking watch
Labyrinth.
that, dude, because I really liked him in this.
Yeah. And then he was in another movie called Solo se muere dos veces. You only die twice. La casa de mi padre, my father's house. Los peores años de nuestra vida, the worst years of our life. And then Dos por Dos, 2 by 2.
Nice. Now the next guy, Armando de Raza. I thought I recognized this guy, and I'm a total asshole. I thought he was the dude off The Mummy and Deuce Bigelow.
Oh, God.
You know the guy I'm talking about with the black hair, beard,
Not him.
luscious hair, and he's on the horse, and he's with his, he's like a warrior.
He's an Italian actor.
So FYI, I don't know if he's Italian, but
Yes.
FYI, it's not this guy. It's not Armando.
Yeah, so Armando de Raza plays Professor Caban. He was the...
What about Armando
science of
for
the occult.
Chacho's name?
Huh?
Armando. It's powerful.
Armando. No.
Oh, okay. We're still thinking.
We're
Okay.
still thinking.
We're processing.
He's been acting since 1981, and he was in such films as Oh Carmela, Un Invierno Fredo, Les Europeans. I think these are Italian movies. El Bandito.
Oh, this guy's Italian.
Parental Guidance, and There's Still Tomorrow. Yes.
Porque.
Porque. That's your Italian. And then we have Santiago Segura, who plays Jose Maria.
This guy's great in this movie. He's probably my favorite character.
He's
Aside from Armando
too.
de Raza's character.
You liked Armando de Raza?
Dude, he was fucking awesome. It's hilarious.
So Santiago Segura, again, he's been acting since 1981. He's been in several, he has a lot of credits to his name. I did see that he's been in franchises of more like family comedy movies.
Torrente.
Padre no hay más que uno. There's no one like Dad. And he's in 4 of these movies. He's in Torrente, the dumb arm of the law. He plays a
dumb arm of the law.
Yeah, that was a translation that I got. He plays a former cop, and I think he's just kind of all over the place. He's been in 5 of these movies. He was in Pacific Rim, Blade 2.
Whoa, he was in Pacific Rim?
Mm-hmm. That shook Richard surprised him.
Oh my God. I didn't see that. What the hell? I don't know how I missed that. What character?
I did.
I love that movie.
He was there. He was also in A Todo Tren, Hellboy.
I do remember in Hellboy.
He's in Witchin' Bitchin', which is another movie by Ángel de la Iglesia.
I never seen it, but I've heard about it.
Witchin' Bitchin'. I really want to watch it. I saw the trailer and it looks like crazy.
Oh, we got to watch it.
He was in a movie, and I think this movie was a spun off of Dia de la Bestia by how it's spelled. It's called ECDC, and I think it's a mock-off again of AC/DC. And he plays another metalhead.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, and then Mutant Action again by Ángel de la Iglesia. He was in 47 Meters Down.
So they team up quite a bit.
And then he was in El Poseso, which I also want to watch from the description.
The Possessed?
From the description of the movie, it looks like an adult cartoon movie. And the plot was that there's a son who is very rebellious to the border of dementia, and it worsens to the extent of supernatural explanation being needed.
That sounds good.
It's like an adult cartoon.
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
About possession. And then we have Natalie Cesena, who plays Mina.
Mm-hmm.
She's in a lot of TV as well. And in movies, she was in La Celestina, Airbag, Kill Me Over and Over, Un Final Feliz, La Que Se Avecina. And the last one, it looks like it's a TV show. She's been in it. In that TV show from 2007 to 2023. So recurring character in there.
Cool.
And then we have Terele Pavés, who plays Rosario, Jose Maria's mom.
Oh, okay. She was funny.
She was funny too. Active since 1954. She was in Fortunata y Jacinta, The Holy Innocents, The Last Circus, Cuéntame Cómo Pasó TV, and then she was also in Witchin' and Bitchin'. And then we have Maria Gracia Cuchinota, who plays Susana. She was
the Virgin.
No, she was not the Virgin. She was
she was dude's girlfriend.
And she was in movies such as Reproduta Interdita. Again, she's another Italian actress. High Risk, The Postman, The Second Wife, Mary Magdalene. I think I saw her in that. She was in The Right.
She did The Sopranos.
And Santa Guerra.
Nice. So how do you feel about the cast?
I like the cast in this movie.
I thought it was very well cast. Did you mention who the dad was?
The dad or the grandpa?
The grandpa. He should have won an award for his role in this movie.
I only saw 3 credits for him, and I thought I wrote down his name, but I don't see it on my list. Did you get it?
No.
You didn't?
I didn't. I forgot. I don't even think he got credited.
He was your idol?
Yeah, he's awesome.
He did. They just didn't have a picture for him when I was looking up the cast.
Yeah. Now, do you want to talk about that director?
Yes, Ricardo.
Yeah, this one's going to be an Angelus heavy, guys.
Angelus heavy?
Because she was nerding out hard. She loves this fucking movie. Me and Viana were just like, oh, it's good. She's like, what are you talking about? This is fucking amazing.
You better fucking recognize, son.
I was like, holy shit, game recognized game. I was like, fuck, dude. I was like, that's hardcore.
That's hardcore. I learned a lot about Spain and Madrid and their history.
Yeah, it's nice, and we'll get into it. So what about the director?
So the director, his name is Alex de la Iglesia Mendoza. He's a director, producer, and writer. Born in December of 1965 in Spain. He started out actually in comics, and then I found that you can kind of see some of that resemble throughout his career.
So looking at his thing, I wrote down he has American He directed American movies quite a bit.
Yeah,
He has a whole list of these.
Yeah. So his first movie that he directed was Mutant Action.
Yeah.
Which a lot of the cast, like I mentioned, a couple of them were in this movie as well with him. And then followed by The Day of the Beast. So that was his second movie, which apparently The Day of the Beast is highly praised as having changed the face of Spanish fantastique, the genre forever.
Like the horror genre?
Fantastic. So like
fantasy. Well, dude, that's pretty awesome. That's a tall order. And dude, it had to have influence of today's. When you look at When Evil Lurks, Terrified, that I think it had some influence with that darker tones. Yeah, I wonder. I wish if we ever interview Ragna,
if he's
was ever influenced.
Yeah,
if he is influenced by him, I'd be curious.
Among his most, and from what I was looking, he's a very renowned, very well-known, recognized director in Spain. Set up a lot of trends and opened up the doors for a lot of other directors that came through after him. I saw most of his renowned works were The Last Circus, which was praised by the New York Times, and then followed by Perfect Crime. And then Witchin' and Bitchin' also got a high regard. My Big Night and The Bar. Like I said, he's one of the most popular and respected European filmmakers. He's considered to have created a genre of his own based on his skill and originality. I didn't know he directed.
Dude, he has a documentary. Did you mention that of Messi?
I haven't gotten that there yet.
Oh, okay.
He was involved with directing the second season of 30 Coins, which is on HBO Max.
Dude, so the couple clips that I walked in when you and Maria were watching looked pretty fucking intense. I was like, holy shit. I was like, I can't believe Maria's watching this.
It was very like Satan is coming.
Yeah, it was fucking hardcore. But that being said, now it makes sense.
That he was involved with
I'm not surprised with the all-around theme of that show.
So he does have his own production company called Poughkeepsie Films with his wife, who's a prestigious producer, Carolina Bang.
Do you know her?
Her name doesn't sound familiar. And in some of the other filmmakers that I mentioned that he kind of nurtured and opened the doors for were Paul Urquijo, Eduardo Casanova, Zoe Berriatua, Juan Fer Andres, and Esteban Roel. Apparently, his film company released another HBO series called Headless Chickens.
I really want to visit some more of his work. We should cover another one of his horror movies.
He has another movie on a series called 1992 on Netflix. One of his trademarks, and I kind of saw that when I was looking up his work and then the screenwriter, they work a lot hand in hand.
So and that's funny, that's a good segue into it. He co-wrote this with the writer, then they're buddies, right?
Yeah.
Like you're saying.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool.
So you see them both collaborating a lot in a lot of the films that they're involved with.
Yeah, even like recently, right?
Another trademark of his is that a lot of his climatic scenes take place on very high places or landmarks, which we see in this movie happen at the end.
Oh, quite a bit.
Yeah. Apparently, he was offered to direct Alien Resurrection, the 1997, and he turned that down.
Fuck.
As well as The Crow Salvation.
So, Crow Salvation, I understand. Alien Resurrection was a big one. And, dude, I think it was David Lynch who took it, the guy who directed Seven, but I think that's the one, but it didn't do very well because this guy made the right choice because the Fox or whatever who owns it was so overbearing about it. Like he couldn't even get his vision out. So I can only imagine them trying to fucking fuck with this guy.
Yeah.
But I think he would have done a fucking awesome job with it.
Yeah. One of the quotes that I saw, and I kind of very like him for this, he said I wouldn't want the kind of movies I do to become trendy. I've always hated trends, and I feel quite uncomfortable creating one. So he wants to be unique and do his own thing and not just have people.
I like that. Well, this movie, The Day of the Beast, is definitely unique. I don't think I've seen anything like it, quite like it. It's a little weird.
Some of his movies, more well movies, like I mentioned, Mutant Action, that came out in 1993. It's about a future a futuristic place ruled by attractive people. And then there's this mutant terrorist that kidnap a rich man's daughter to claim rights for the ugly people. And then they go to escape police, and the mutant leaders crash into a planet of crazy miners where no woman lives. So it just sounds bonkers and interesting all the way around.
That sounds fun. What about the writer?
Am I skipping through the rest of his movies?
I mean, we don't have to go into detail about every single one of them. Go ahead. What you have, let's hear it. I just wasn't sure.
Some of the other movies that he's known for are Perdita Durango, Commonwealth, like I mentioned, for Crime, The Oxford Murders, Witchin' and Bitchin', Perfectos Extraños, and El Bar.
All right.
The writer, his name is Jose Guerrica Echevarria. He was born...
Whoa, can you say that again?
Say it again. Guerrica Echevarria.
Can you spell this out for the listeners? Because this is fucking nuts. Thought my last name was bad, but holy shit. I'm not even going to try Jorge.
Come on.
Is it Jorge or Jose?
Jorge.
Okay, spell it out.
You're not going to say it?
No.
Guerrica Echevarria.
Guerricaechevarria. What the fuck?
Known as Guerrica. He's most known as.
Okay.
Because of the length of his last name, I'm assuming.
He needs to change his last name to Tremblay.
Oh my gosh. Born July 1965. Spanish screenwriter. Like I mentioned, he's a regular co-screenwriter with Alex de la Iglesia.
Mm-hmm.
And he has also been seen as a recurring collaborator with Daniel Monzon. He has won Goya Awards for various scripts, which are Spanish film awards.
Okay.
And he's worked in a ton of stuff. He's had some of his movies been recognized at the Basque Film Festival. Again, Acción Mutante, Día de la Bestia, Live Flesh, Perdita Durango, Muertos de Risa, La Comunidad, They're Watching Us, 800 Bullets, The Kovac Box, Oxford Murders, Witchin' and Bitchin', Sarah's Notebook, Sky High, and Sister Death, which we still have to watch, and it's enough.
So that's a pretty lengthy career.
Yeah.
And it's still rolling, it sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Do you have anything else? Any more to add?
No.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. Pretty thorough. I like it.
Pretty thorough.
So yeah, that wraps it up. I like the cast. I thought it was great. The director he has plenty to dive into, so I'm excited to see more of his work. Same with the writer. Well, that being said, do you want to take a quick break and then we'll get into the plot?
Si, senor.
All right. We'll be right back.
Tired of the same old murder mystery games? Ready for something darker? More thrilling?
Introducing Antichrist Unveiled, the only mystery game inspired by the dark and thrilling adventures of The Day of the Beast.
Gather your friends, light some candles, and prepare for a night of unholy fun. With Antichrist Unveiled, you'll solve cryptic clues and uncover dark secrets to figure out where the Antichrist will be born.
Will you decipher the prophecies, decode the ancient texts, or just end up in hysterics trying to pronounce Beelzebub? Either way, it's bound to be a devilishly good time.
Designed for those with a taste of the macabre and a sense of humor, Antichrist Unveiled transforms your game night into a thrilling quest for unholy knowledge.
Warning, may cause fits of laughter, spooky chills, and the occasional existential crisis.
Perfect for parties, dark and stormy nights, or any time you're ready to embrace the supernatural. Antichrist Unveiled adds a wickedly fun twist to your evenings.
So why settle for the ordinary mysteries when you can unravel the ultimate prophecy?
Get your Antichrist Unveiled game today and let the dark fun begin. Available wherever dark secrets and good times are sold.
I'm just saying, I'm a peacock. You gotta let me fly, goddammit.
I'm gonna trim your fucking wings.
I know, dude. You're always trying to put me down.
When? You lying sack of potatoes.
Trying to control me.
You're such a fucking drama.
I'm just a piece of meat to you, okay?
You know what? Meat expires, Richard.
Whoa,
Throw
holy
you in the
shit.
fridge.
Oh my god. Wow. Oh, we're recording. Hello. Anyways, that was a nice break. We got good news.
No, it wasn't. You just fucking cracked the whip and you said, back.
Goddammit.
Speak.
Do you want to get into the plot?
Yeah, man. I think
Right.
mine's lengthy this time.
Okay, I'll go first.
Oh, okay.
Just because this is your movie. This is like, you love it. Okay.
Okay.
In The Day of the Beast, a well-meaning but hilariously misguided priest discovers that the Antichrist will be born on Christmas Eve and decides the best way to stop it is by becoming the baddest sinner in all of Madrid. With a heavy metal junkie and a loopy TV psychic in tow, they embark on a righteous romp through the city, committing outlandish sins to get Satan's attention. Between devilish graffiti, disastrous seances, and a showdown with a satanic gang, this trio's chaotic quest to save the world is as side-splitting as it is bizarre.
Amazing.
It's not my best work, but I was working with it.
I like it.
Thank you.
I like it. Very, very good choice of
Thank
words,
you.
Ricardo.
Let's hear yours.
Mine.
Mm-hmm.
Mine says, join Padre Angel Berriatúa as he spends Christmas learning everything about being bad and becoming the ultimate stalker and even more determined than your ex in order to give his soul to the devil. After befriending a hardcore metalhead and kidnapping a professor of the science of the occult, there's no stopping him from committing every sin possible, as petty as it may seem, learning about metal bands, picking up new hobbies such as learning satanic rituals to invoke the beast and stop the apocalypse and birth of the Antichrist. Setting a trend for Satan horror comedy in Madrid, Dia de la Bestia is a family must-watch for your holiday season. Hashtag bad boy stereotypes. Hashtag metal equals Satan.
Oh my God. I like it. It was pretty good. I don't know if it was family friendly, but we'll take it.
It is. It's a Christmas movie.
That was going to be my next thing. That was going to be my next thing I was going to bring up. Is this movie a Christmas movie?
It's a fucking Christmas movie.
I think I'm going to add this to the rotation every Christmas. I'm going to be like, kids, gather around.
Gather around.
Perfecto. Maria, gather around. We got a Christmas movie
No
for all of
Santa
us to
Claus.
enjoy. There's Santa on the TV. There's a bunch of Mexican dancing
What?
or Spanish dancing Santas on the TV, man. They're doing like a cool dance. I'm doing it. You guys can't see it because I don't have it on video. We're not a video podcast. But I'm grooving.
You're grooving to this movie?
Yeah. And
To
just
the
give me a beat.
soundtrack.
Give me a beat.
El Día de la Bestia viene Satán.
Yeah.
I can't remember the rest.
Anyways, I just did
Anyways.
the best dancing ever and you guys didn't see it.
I'm like so impressed. You're freaking... Your Denzel Washington laugh.
What? That is a Denzel.
You said that
That's
was
my
your
rich,
trademark.
evil rich man laugh.
Do it again. Sure.
We're playing chess, not checkers. Chess, not checkers.
Stop. Is the aha with the look in your face? Oh, my
Yeah, I'm
Lord.
good.
Oh, I knew I liked you for a reason.
I don't know. You'll keep me around?
Yeah, a little bit longer.
Yeah. Anyways, we're yet to put these plots on social media.
Okay,
What the
you know what?
fudge?
Tonight I'll write down the one for last week. Well, you never send me your plot.
I do every time. It's in
No,
your email.
you don't.
It's in the box, along with the new script I sent out to you for our commercial.
I just saw the commercial today.
You just glaze over it. It's cool.
It's not priority.
It's cool. I put my heart and soul in this for you to give half effort on these commercials,
You know what,
okay?
Richard? To the corner.
I am excited Vienna's starting to join in on them.
I know.
So, guys, if you didn't listen, if you fast forward through this commercial, you missed it. Viana did an amazing job along with Angelus. You guys did great.
Oh, gracias, señor.
Let's get back to it. Do you want to go? Are we at the scene for scene, beat for beat?
Yeah, do you want to
Habano
give
for
a
my ano?
background setup for this movie? And when it's you're in your baño and your ano,
Yep.
your sparkling ano.
Yep.
So before we get into the scene by scene,
Yeah.
the time place that this takes place. So guys, check out the movie. It's great. It's funny. There's a lot of comedy.
Yeah. Oh, do you want to? I know where you're going with it.
You know where I'm going for this?
Yeah. So she's going to get into it, but at this time, it's the mid 90s. They had a surge of Nazis going through there, and they had pretty much, was it race?
It was a real life thing. It wasn't just like in the
No,
movie.
and it was really going because they shot this movie live. So the crowds that you see in this movie are real crowds. Now, some of the more criminal stuff being filmed is obviously acting, but the majority of it, the stuff you see on the walls, posters, anything like that is pretty much real life. They just caught it on film.
Yeah.
But go ahead and describe what you found. I thought this was interesting when you're kind of scratching the surface, like telling me.
I know. Well, so throughout the movie, when you guys watch the movie, it seems there's a lot of chaos going on in the background. And throughout, you can see there's writings that say Limpia Madrid or Clean Up Madrid. And I was like, what is this? Where are we going with this? Like, there had to be meaning behind it, right? They're not just leaving this sign up for no reason. So I did a little Google search and we went down the rabbit hole. So apparently there was an actual movement in the 90s in Madrid. Started somewhere mid 80s, but it kind of pushed through the 90s. And there was a group of like neo-Nazis that essentially took over the streets. People would shave their heads and then they would have like Celtic crosses as part of their symbols. And it was just brewing for a long time, building up.
Crazy to me.
Yeah. And so essentially they were calling themselves like skinheads and they were copying groups that they were seeing do this kind of activity in France and also Great Britain. And then there's some traces back to 1984 was when there was the early like historical is going back regarding immigration and how some of these issues started arising.
Damn.
There was a woman apparently that was murdered because she was a minority. Although at the time, immigration, the population was actually really low, registry for Spain in comparison to whatever they thought it was. Then this group of people, the skinheads, they started blending in with the normal population and attending like punk concerts because they figured they could kind of blend in.
And infiltrate, yeah.
Yeah. And so for the first half of the 90s, it was common to see them. I don't know that they were to this level of like aggressive as you see them in the movie, but they were known to attack like immigrants, homeless.
Well, it was pretty bad. They were attacking the vulnerable people.
Yeah, and then also people in the LGBTQ plus community because they know that they wouldn't come forward and report it to the police, so it was going unnoticed.
So typical fucking racist douchebags. They can't they're picking on the little guy, the people that couldn't really help themselves as much. So man, screw these guys, cowards.
And then the other thing interesting that happened, so soccer is huge in Spain. From what it looks like.
No. Go!
Wow.
You're looking at me. Just stop.
Are we done?
Yes.
And then
go. Oh, I'm
up.
kidding.
So from being on the streets, they actually started moving into stadiums and in games, and then they were bringing their signs to promote their movement and their agenda there.
Yeah.
There were a few instances where apparently they even murder people because they were beating them up pretty badly.
Fucking nuts.
And then they were getting so much publicity. The newspapers, the news, they were constantly talking about it. And there's a couple scenes in the movie that we see that they're talking about this movement, the Madrid movement.
Yeah. Was that real footage, do you think?
I don't know that it was real, but essentially it kind of became like pop culture at the time, sadly. And it was idolized by like younger generations because they were like, oh, cool. They're talking about this group of people on TV all the time. I want to be part of it. And then it was referenced that there's a movie called Taxi and then Day of the Beast where they show some of that movement that was going on in real life.
Taxi, the Scorsese film?
I don't think, it must have been some Spanish movie if they had this in there.
No way.
And then finally at the turn of the century, the group of people became less popular. There were other soccer teams that came in and just were not about that. They were not allowing this kind of people in there and promoting this stuff within the games.
Yeah, it's stupid.
And then there was also more pressure from police to...
Who's got time to do this? Like, you're consumed by hate this much that you're starting a movement.
Their life.
That's fucking nuts to me. Like, obviously, like, get a girlfriend, get a job. Like, you know, there's other things you can do in life. Get a hobby, man. Play guitar. I don't know, but this is so stupid. It's dumb. I don't get it.
They're really bored. I don't know.
Again,
stupid. They thought that it was cool. They were being rebellious and doing things, and so they just the younger ones probably didn't even freaking know.
It's funny how it hasn't really changed either. Like here in the States, you got it's still that bullshit. People. Yeah, it's still stupid. Why? That's so dumb. Anyways, sorry.
So essentially, police started putting more pressure on them. And it just became, I guess, not cool anymore. And then they found other content at home to ingest instead of being out on the street and joining gangs. So it kind of has this solved. But it was really interesting because...
Well, it ends up playing a big part of this movie.
I've told you, it kind of plays along with some of the like background information and like historical information with Spain and other races.
Because they even incorporate it too throughout like Free Madrid. Like the little signs they spray paint everywhere.
Yeah, and a lot of those riots and violence that you see in the movie were based on this skinhead Libera Madrid movement that was going on.
Man.
So interesting. That's crazy. I had no idea this was happening in Madrid. In 1995. That was
something you don't learn about here in school, at least. Like, I didn't even know. I had no clue. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What is this? This is fascinating.
This is Europe. We don't do this stuff anymore.
Yeah, not cool. Not cool.
Get your shit together, man.
I know.
Don't hate on people.
Yeah.
Anyways, that was my background. So if you guys go into watching this movie... I was confused. I didn't know the historical, why there was so much violence and references, but that's what it is.
Yep. And if you're a skinhead and you're listening to this, sorry.
You're not cool.
Not cool.
Get a job.
Say no.
To racism. And discrimination.
Yep. Bullshit.
Hashtag shame on you.
Yep. Hashtag shame. Anyways, should we get into the movie now? Let's get into the guts of this. I'm ready to go fucking balls deep.
Whoa.
Sorry. Whoa.
Slow down. There's children listening.
My bad. Sorry.
Are you going to get started?
So the opening scene, we've got Angel or Angel.
Angel.
I can't say it.
What is it?
I can't say it. I suck at these names. Angel.
Angel.
Yeah, him. So we got him. He's walking into this big ass church. So it's not in Madrid though. This is somewhere else. Is it Italy?
I didn't catch that.
I think it was Italy.
Okay.
Because he ends up flying to Madrid.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a rural church, and he gets in there, and he has got information. He tells this other priest he deciphered the ancient texts predicting the Antichrist's birth. Where the priest is like, the other one's like, no, you didn't. That's bullshit, man. You're crazy. And then he's like, no. And then he gave him like information, didn't he? And then the guy's like, whoa, together though, we can solve this, but we got to act fast. And then they get up, and this is the comedy that kind of like went over my head. He drops his paperwork on the ground, and the other priest gets up, and then this huge ass cross that they're in front of, this thing's massive. It ends up crushing the other priest right after him saying, we got to do this together, and we can do this no matter what.
There was another joke in there.
But he's like, dude, we got to be quiet because he might have hurt us, the devil.
The devil. And he's like, it's okay. God will burden our weight. And then the fucking cross falls on him. I was like, oh, he didn't.
That was hilarious. And then it cuts to later where he lands and is walking through Madrid.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes.
What's he doing?
He's just walking on the street. And we don't know yet, but
And
he goes
man,
up to
he is
this-
walking with his bad self, man.
He goes up to, he sees a homeless person. He walks up to him and he takes his cash. And I think the guy was blind because he heard the rattling of the money being taken out
And
of
he's
the
like,
container, and he's
hey.
screaming, and he takes it. And then he keeps walking, and there's just chaos throughout this entire strip.
You can
that
tell
he's
it's
walking.
the Madrid's in peril.
Yeah, and so there's a car accident, a car crash, and then the cop was like, hey, because he's in full Catholic priest attire, so you see him, you
Right.
recognize him.
Oh, yeah, and the cops,
Boy, so
because
the-
there's a huge car.
Yeah, so the cop grabs him again, just being, more of a religious country, like, oh, he might be dying, you might want to
Give him
confess
his,
him, his
last rites. Yeah.
So he goes up to him, and the guy's just laying there, like, on his freaking deathbed. And then he goes up to him and pretends like he's gonna do, his actual thing, has the
And
guy
he
kiss
gets-
his cross.
And he gets close, and then he reaches into the dude's jacket, steals his wallet, and then what's he tell him?
He's like, I hope you rot in hell. And then the guy just, like, he dies, but he dies
But he's
of
dumbfounded.
shock.
He's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, he's in shock, and he dies. So I was like, whoa.
Hope you rot in
This
hell.
is not your typical priest. He opens
Well, he did tell the other priest that he's going to commit,
sins.
yeah, the most sins he possibly can.
And then, he opens the wallet that he just stole from the guy at the car accident, throws away his family picture. And
Yeah, he throws it behind. He's like, fuck it.
he grabs, it looks like
A little
tarot card with Satan on it, and he puts it in the wall, and he's like, cool. Like, it's fitting. And then he pulls out, like, a huge, is it a cassette player?
Yes.
Yeah.
And headphones.
and
he has a Walkman.
Yep. And he's just strutting down the street listening to music.
Death metal.
Yeah.
Oh.
then-
All while this is playing, though, I do like the background music. That down, down. It just sounds pretty cool.
And then he sees a mime who's just up on this post.
How do you say, he just looks him up and down,
Yeah.
and then he fucking pushes him off the ledge,
Yeah.
and you hear the guy just,
I'm gonna fall.
Everybody looks. They're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, so he's just a fucking rebel on the streets.
My favorite, too, was he's walking by, and this guy has a suitcase, and he's trying to flag down a taxi, and he's in the streets distracted, and then the priest, he walks by, and he looks around, and then he grabs the suitcase and runs
He
off.
just takes it. And then he finally makes it. There's a guy like handing out flyers and
Oh, yeah.
talking about stuff. And he's standing it right in between this like sex shop and a music shop.
Mm-hmm.
And then Angel here, the priest, he thinks it's a sign. So he's like, because the guy's just talking about this and preaching about whatever is on his flyer. And he's like, hey, I want to be one of you. He's like, I want to see the devil and I want to be one of you. And he scares the guy off.
He's like,
what
you're
are you
scaring everybody,
talking
man. Get
about?"
the fuck out of here. He's like, I just work for the company who hands these out.
Yeah, I'm just passing out flyers. I have nothing to do with this.
Yeah, he's like, I want to meet the devil.
And you're like, what the fuck is going on?
And he's in a priest outfit.
Yeah, full on. So he's tripping everybody out. And then he goes inside the music store.
Well, he
and-
looks at the window of the music store, and there's like a baby with a baby doll with bloody head and like a thorn crown.
Yeah, and he's like,
on.
perfect.
Yeah, and he sees Metallica and a bunch of just metal like album covers and stuff there, and then he's like, perfect. I'm gonna go in here.
Yeah, and then we see Jose Maria. He's just straight up beating up a guy against the counter because the guy was trying to steal.
And he slams him through the counter, and he's like, God, not another glass case.
Yeah, so this is a normal thing for him. And then
And the guy was trying to steal. He's like, you're stealing 4 albums? Get the fuck out of here.
not one. Yeah, then you can see like Jose Maria has this very biblical name, by the way.
Yeah, you were
That's
telling me.
another
I didn't
thing
realize
that's
that.
interesting about this movie.
So, why is it holy?
Huh? Biblical names? Jose, Joseph, Maria, Mary.
Oh.
The Virgin Mary, they're biblical names.
I'm not very religious, so like Joseph?
Yeah, Joseph was married, or he helped the Virgin Mary when she was impregnated with baby Jesus.
Whoa.
Whoa, so he's the
I got a
two.
question, dude. Like,
Oh, lordy lord.
I mean, kudos to him for taking care of another dude's baby, but Like the girl was pregnant when they like fucking were hanging
She
out.
didn't have sex. She was impregnated by the Holy Spirit, Richard.
Okay.
By the
I've heard this
angel,
story
Michael.
before in real life.
You stupid.
I don't know how it happened.
It was a miracle.
I kid, but I really ain't religious. So some of that's another reason why a lot of this went over my head. I just don't know.
Yeah, just seeing him in full like rocker, the long hair, the Satan shirt, and his name is Jose Maria.
Yeah.
So the cura, the priest, he goes up to him.
And he hands him a piece of paper.
Yeah, piece of paper. And
What's
he's
it
looking
say?
for this music. And then
What's the first one?
it says Napalm des.
What's that?
Iron Maiden and ACDC. So the joke on this was that English is not his first language. So he was sounding out some of the band names and just writing them how they sounded to him on the paper and wanting Jose Maria to help him look for this. But it was the bands that he was looking for were Napalm Death, Iron Maiden,
Napalm
he did
Death.
get it, and then AC/DC. But he wrote ACDC. So I was like, oh, shit.
But he goes through the albums, and then he's going through. He doesn't get the Iron Maiden one. He sees one with the devil, just this demon on the cover. He's like, this one, I want to listen to this.
Yeah.
And the guy puts it on, but he's like, no, it's got to speak to me. Play it backwards. And he's like, no, I got something that'll speak to you. He's like, they're a local band, but they fucking are badass.
Yeah.
And it's Satanica. And he puts that in, and this is hilarious because he's like totally fucking nerding out,
Oh,
man.
yeah.
He's playing air guitar, then he starts playing air drums.
That was hilarious to just see him. Like, the priest is so concerned about the end of the world.
Yeah, the guys are just
And
having a good
Jose
time.
Maria is just banging fucking hard to this music.
And he's entertained by this priest. He's like, this guy's fucking wild.
Yeah.
And then he's like, the priest is like, can I have that tape? And he gives it to him. He's like, I'm not paying for this.
Because he was trying to steal,
Because
like,
he's a rebel.
yeah. And to his surprise, Jose Maria's like, oh, it's fine. You can totally
He's
have
like,
it.
I fucking love you, dude. You can have this.
Yeah. And then he gives him a flyer to a music venue called Infierno or Hell.
Which is fitting. So he's looking for the Antichrist.
Yeah.
This is saint music, and they play in the venue Hell.
Yes.
I mean, Jesus. It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah. And he's like, no, I don't have time for that. And he's like, well, okay, but if you
But they
need
play it on Christmas Eve.
Yeah. He's like, but if you need a place to stay, I know where you can stay. And he writes on the back of the flyer the name of
a
this
hostel.
address. Yeah, the place where he's going to stay. And then I found my notes. So the reason why he wanted to join the group of people, the guy with the flyer before he went inside the music store.
Yeah.
The guy, he had a flyers. It was on a French astrologer. He was a physician and known for being like a clairvoyant. His name was Nostradamus.
Yeah. And they eventually do go to that.
Yeah, and he was known for like predicting future events. So
Yeah.
to the
Everyone
priest,
knows Nostradamus.
he was like, this is more Satan stuff. I need to be one of them.
Yeah. And get as much information as he can. Again, he has no idea. He knows the date he's certain of. He just doesn't know where.
Yeah, it's somewhere in Madrid. He goes over to the address that Jose Maria writes down on that flyer. The hostel, like you were saying, and on his way there, like you can see on TV, there's a psychic who has a TV show, and he's talking about future predictions. And he goes up to the address, knocks on the door, and then we meet Mina. She comes out. And
Well, before he gets in there, it's important to show he's just a sleazy part of town. There's prostitutes out there, drug addicts. It's a seedy part of town.
oh yeah,
But he's fitting right in. He's the baddest priest I've ever met.
I'm fucking same here. She's like a little hesitant, and then we learn later why. She's like, "No, we're not taking people in. Like, there's no space." And he's like, "But I."
So
met
that
this-
kind of fell on me. I didn't know why they didn't take him in.
So across the street from him was a whorehouse. So
Yeah.
she thought that he was getting that their place confused with the other place.
Oh,
So she thought maybe he was there looking for
okay.
a lady of the night initially.
Oh, okay. Not a place to sleep.
Not a place to sleep. I mean, he's like, but this really nice guy that I met at the music store sent me here, and I caught on that she knew him.
And they're like, oh, yeah, Jose Maria.
Mm-hmm. So they let him in, and they like make a really quick deal, and she's like, all right. She's
Well,
like,
the mom's still pissed, but then she gets a whole wad of cash, right?
well, yeah, he was willing. He agreed to pay 3,000 pesetas for one night. And then the really funny thing, he goes into his bedroom, right, that they give him, and he walks in there, and there's a cross hanging above the bed, and he just grabs it and fucking like looks at it and tosses it like, yeah, whatever. I don't want it.
And then he busts open a carton of smokes.
Mm-hmm.
And then he starts smoking. He clearly has never smoked in his life. He's just hacking up a lung. And then the best part, he just like, he's so badass. He puts the cigarette out on the bottom of his foot. Like as evil as you can get.
I think that was one of the most like entertaining things to me, that he's trying to be bad, but the things that he's doing, like
He's
stealing
just so
and
naive.
pushing,
Yeah.
he doesn't know, like to other people to be like stupid petty thing.
Right. He's so naive. It's hilarious.
And then the next day you meet Rosario, which was the lady of the house, I think.
Yeah.
And she's chewing down on Mina for having let him in.
And she's chopping up a chicken. Or a rabbit. It's a real rabbit,
It's a
too.
real rabbit.
Yeah, it's nuts.
She's like, everybody around here is bad. They're drug addicts, rapists. She's like, homeless. How do you know it wasn't one of them? And Mina keeps being like, well, he was wearing a priest outfit. He was wearing a priest outfit. So she's like, what if it was a costume? She's
yeah.
like, I don't know. He gave me this much money. And she was like, oh, okay.
And then puts it in her bra.
Yeah.
And her hands are all bloody from the rabbit.
And then
He comes out, doesn't he?
not yet. And then we see them. So he goes to a store, to a video. Was it a library, a store? And he's looking in the section for the science of the occult.
Yeah.
I think it was a store.
Yeah, no, it was a library.
Okay. And
They're selling a book, but it's packaged because it has like has a
bundle.
necklace in it, and then it has something else.
yeah, and he like straight up doesn't care. Just rips it open and takes one book in particular.
Right. Well, it's that dude on TV's book.
Yeah, and then the book says that it's an exorcist book. So he grabs it and then nonchalant grabs it and tries to steal it and put it in his like...
Well, he fucking opens the package, throws that on the ground. He takes the book, he puts the necklace on, shoves the book in his pocket, and is going to walk away, and then security comes and takes him away.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes to the police station, I believe, or wherever the security room is.
Yeah. Yeah, and then that guy, I think he's either security or a cop, but he's there and he's like, hey, aren't you a little old to be stealing?
Yeah, he's like, what the fuck, man? Stealing a book.
Yeah, and then he's like, why, like, is it a thing that you just can't buy it? And he's like, oh, no, I can afford it. And he's like, okay, then why are you stealing if you can afford it? And he's like, I have to get used to doing bad things. I'm trying to find Satan. And the cop's like, okay, but you're a priest. And he's like, hey, I've been studying the apocalypse for 25 years.
Yeah, he gets all in depth with it. The guy's just listening to him like, go ahead, keep going.
Yeah, and he's just on and on and on about his findings.
And then he ends up having a chalkboard and chalk, and he's drawing shit out. But finally, a guy interrupts him, and then he's like, what the hell? No, continue. And then the dude pops out and says something like, get the loony bin or whatever.
Call a psychiatrist, yeah.
Yeah, this priest is fucking local.
Mm-hmm. And then he turns around.
And he gets knocked in the head with I don't know why it was
iron.
there, an iron was there. And he takes off with the book and necklace.
Yeah, and then he goes downstairs to like a car garage.
Yeah.
He pulls like keys and just as he's walking, just scratching every car in the parking lot.
Fuck that asshole, dude. I would fucking hate him for that.
And then you see him, he goes back to this hostel is what you called it, where this house where he's staying. And he's just chilling, laying in bed, reading that book that he stole. And then this zooms out, and then you see the bottom of his feet where he's been putting out the cigarettes.
And they make crosses.
Yeah, on both of them.
It's fucking nuts.
And then, I don't know, from reading his book, he comes out to the kitchen, and Jose Maria's there just eating. And he's like, hey, I need to talk to you. And then Jose Maria, like, looks at Amina up and down.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I've been trying to shag her for years. Just super nonchalant.
Yeah.
His mom's there. She's there. Everybody's there. And he's just openly talking about this to the priest. And then Rosario comes, Jose Maria's mom, and introduces herself. And yeah, she's like, do you want some rabbit?
And then Jose Maria's like, man, it's always this. It's always the cheap shit.
Yeah. And then again, the priest, he's like, all right, Jose Maria, I need a favor from you.
But by this time, his dad comes in, right?
It was a grandpa.
Yeah, his grandpa comes in. Fully naked. You see his, like, fucking dong.
Just in a robe.
That one caught me off guard. I'm like, whoa. Thank God Perfecto walked out ahead of time. But then he sits down, he doesn't say shit, and then Jose Maria cuts him some acid and gives it to him.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, my grandpa's cool. Sometimes he says that he sees the Virgin, so he fucking just has him high, hallucinating and seeing things.
Yeah.
And then he tells him, the thing that he needs help with is invoking Satan. He needs to sell his soul to Satan in order to stop the apocalypse from happening.
What's funny is Jose Maria's like, that sounds legit. This is checking out. He doesn't question anything. He's just fucking stoked. He's like, yes.
Yeah, he's going to be part of something.
Yeah, he's like, fuck yeah, this is cool. I'm down. I'm your bro.
Yeah, he's a true, what do they call it? Gosh, it just escaped me that phrase.
Follower?
Ride or die.
Oh, yeah, dude. Ride or die for sure.
Yeah, and he's like, yeah, I read that guy, that Calvan, I read his book. He's like, I just don't know how to do it. And then you see them, they're watching TV. And then you get more of a read on this Calvan guy, who is presented as the investigator of the world. I mean, he can tell, like, the past and the present and do all these things. And his show is Professor Caban.
And his show's pretty cheesy.
Oh, yeah. It reminded me a little bit of Midnight with the Devil.
Oh, yeah.
Like the setting, because it's just back in the day.
Yeah, it just reminded me of infomercials like Chloe, the psychic here in the States.
You guys had Chloe?
Yeah, it was a 1-800 number, and she'd always be on late at night. And it was a Rastafarian lady. A Jamaican lady. I'm like, oh, okay.
We had Walter Mercado.
Oh, yeah?
They actually had him in the news, like Univision. They had a contract with him. So halfway through, they would give him a little segment. And he would go through the horoscopes and tell you what to expect in the future.
Oh, my God.
He wore this, this man had, a full-on face of, just... Gosh, makeup.
Yeah.
Foundation. He had the blonde hair going, and then he wore this very colorful and luxurious robes.
Did you guys believe him?
And hands full of rings. He wouldn't talk about telling the future so much, but occasionally they would bring him in for a longer segment, and they would ask him about stuff that was happening and what the future held. But he would always do the horoscope, and everybody was like, oh, it's Walter. We gotta watch him. There's actually a documentary on him on Netflix. Or it was there at one point. He was big.
Okay, that's cool.
People like their future.
He was a scammer?
I don't know that he was on the same level of scam, but...
Oh, like your godmother?
He was certified. He was on TV.
Oh, shit.
I don't know. I don't know that he has... I don't remember seeing commercials for services. He was just always doing interviews.
Yeah, why not? He made big time. He's on the news.
Forget reading the cards.
Yeah.
And then you see the show. There's an episode playing of the show of the Calvan guy.
It is so cheesy.
You want to get into it?
So when he's walking in, he's kind of explaining, this is what's going on. It's this 12-year-old boy, or I don't know what the age, look 12, and he is possessed by a demon, and we're going to help him. And they go to the house, and initially in the door, like the parents are super cheesy actors, because in the back, the dad has garlic and he just has his eyes open, like really loud, and he's like surprised looking. He's like, oh, like, and then the mom's like just over dramatic crying, like, oh my God, my kid, la la la. But it's like not even like it's overacting. And then he's like, calm down. And then he goes to the room, and then the kid's really overacting with the possession, and he's doing the exorcism, and it keeps cutting out, like it's like fading out, like it's the TV set. And every time it'd fade out, then there's more stuff on his stomach, like they threw mustard on him. It looks like whipped cream. Yeah, dude. And then finally he says something, and then the kid's like, where am I? And then he's like, you're safe now, and puts him in his hands. And that was the end of puts him in his arms. And then he looks at the camera, and then that was it. But they're watching Jose Maria and the priest are watching him in the deli or whatever. And they're like, oh, he's like, I need that guy. I need to talk to that guy. He's like, oh yeah, you definitely need him. Jose Maria does.
Oh yeah. His mom watches the show all the time,
he's like,
or
my
something.
mom loves that show. And that's not the first time you hear that. You hear a bunch of people say that, oh, my wife loves this guy.
Yeah.
What happens next?
And then you see him back out on the street, and then you have Jose Maria's driving.
Oh, they're trying to find this guy now, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they go in to find Gavan's office, and then they're just waiting outside, and they see him leave his office, so they're going to tell him.
So this is what I mean, like the movie, there's not a whole lot going on. It's just bullshitting. And then the priest does like what he considers evil stuff. So there's not like a lot of like, I don't know how to say it, action per se.
Mm-hmm.
But then you get a couple parts. But yeah, the pacing's just weird on it.
Yeah,
but continue, sorry.
Gavan makes a stop at like a small like grocery store, like a pet stop. And he walks in
like
there.
A Quickie Mart.
Yeah, and then he goes up to the fridge, and there's just like a dead guy hanging from one.
Oh, it's nonchalant. So they all watch Jose Maria and the priest are across the street. They watch these people get out, a gang of guys get out, and then they go into a van and leave. I'm in a hurry. Well, then, what's his name?
Gavan.
Yeah, he goes inside nonchalantly. Everything's like all tore up, like the place has been ransacked and robbed. He walks by it, and then the dead body is like inside the fridge, like halfway, like he's been thrown in, glass is broken. He's like in a weird position, head smashed, blood everywhere. But he goes and grabs his wine or something. I don't know. And then he walks by, and then not even caring. And then he goes to the cash register, and he's like, oh, here you go. Keep the change or whatever. And then walks away, and he sees he's clearly dead. He doesn't care.
Yeah, the cashier. He's also dead, just laying on the counter.
But he doesn't care, and he drops back in the car. So I don't know if they're going for comedy there, but I was just like, oh, that's weird. You didn't even acknowledge any of this?
I think they're just acknowledging that they're used to the violence. Yeah, the whole movement that they had going on.
Give me a tissue. Thanks.
And then, so he leaves, and then Jose Maria, goes back to driving, following him again. And this is where, I don't know where the hell he gets this song from. He's singing like
Jesus Christ Superstar.
Yeah, but it's all metal, like rocky, and just singing. He's sang like 2 different songs.
So I'm not familiar with it, but it's a play, isn't it?
I don't know.
A musical.
I've never heard of it before, but I was
You've never heard of it?
He was like super getting into it. And yeah, they finally arrive to Gavan, to his apartment complex or his condo. It looks very fancy. And you see Gavan, he goes upstairs, and the priest gets out, and he goes inside and follows them up there. And then he knocks, and then Gavan gets in there. Behind him is the priest. He knocks, and he opens the door. And again, he's like, hey, I need you. And
Gavan, he's like, dude, hey, man, just come to my offices tomorrow, talk to my assistants, we'll work it out. And then the priest is still being persistent. And then Gavan's like, look, I'll handle it personally, but it's got to be tomorrow. And the guy's like, I don't have time like that. We got the Antichrist, blah, blah, blah. And the guy's like, okay, I'll tell you what. I'm going to go get my notebook. sign whatever.
Mhm.
And then the priest ends up leaving. So he doesn't shut the door completely. The priest goes inside. At this point, Kavan's like, oh shit. And then the priest is hiding. For some reason, the dude has a gong at his door, and he grabs the stick, the drumstick that you use on the gong, and he hides it behind his back. The priest does.
Mhm.
And then Kavan is trying to like give him the run, a run around, like get the fuck out of here. And then finally the priest is left with no choice in his mind, and he hits him over the head with it, knocks him out. And then we cut to he's tied up to this like weird
statue
thing in his house. It's like a tiger or something.
Yeah. He wakes up and he's like, what the hell, man?
Yeah, what the fuck? And he's bleeding.
Yeah. He's like, sorry, I'm just desperate. And while this is happening, Jose Maria, I don't know, he seems very like immature at times. He's just going through the priest, through his bags and looking at pictures of him.
Oh, laughing. He's like, well, I think he's laughing because he's like, dude, he's done all this shit. He's met the Pope. He's done all this religious things, but now he's just being a fucking sinner and a badass. So he's laughing. He's like, what the fuck? And then the funny part is he doesn't even care because that's clearly the priest's belongings.
Mm-hmm.
He rips a paper and he was going to use it to snort some drugs off the steering wheel. So he doesn't care. But at that point, a cop comes, he blows it out of the way, and then he's parked illegally. So I'm bringing this up because it plays a part in this, a very little part, but it plays a part in the story.
Yeah, he's like, you can't be here. And he's like, all right.
But doesn't move.
And then you go back again to the apartment and you see, again, the priest, he's explaining to Cavan his whole theory of why he thinks the Antichrist is coming and the apocalypse is coming. And Cavan is just giving him a look like, dude, you're like off the rails.
Yeah, what the fuck, man?
Yeah, and he's like, it's a date. Like, all he knows about the message is that it's a date. He doesn't know where it's happening. And he's explaining to him how he arrived at this conclusion. But it's going to be the day of the beast. And he's like, so in order to stop it from happening, he needs to get a hold of the devil. And then he's gonna...
And the guy, Cavan, throughout this whole process, he's denied. He's like, this is bullshit. He's trying to kind of play along, but not. He's kind of irritated, obviously. But he's entertaining the priest. But the priest still understands, like, oh, I'm not getting through to him. He's not, like, participating like I need him to.
Yeah. And then you see Jose Maria at this point. He comes upstairs.
He's bored, yeah.
Yeah, looking to see what the hell's going on.
He's like, hey, you're that TV guy.
And Calvan is like, all right, if you guys want money, just take whatever you want.
And they're like, we don't want
but
fucking
leave me
money.
alone. And he's like, no. He's like, it's not that. He's like, it's happening here. He's like, there's all these bad things happening in Madrid.
Yeah, he's like, 50 babies went missing.
Yeah, he's like, that's why, like, I know that this is the place. This is going to be where the Antichrist is going to be born. And then he said that essentially, I guess it's known that devil likes to mock anything that has to do with religion.
Yeah.
So we know that Jesus is born on Christmas Day, so the Antichrist is going to be born on Christmas Day.
Well, he's going to mimic because he wants to be disguised. He wants to be undercover, essentially.
Mm-hmm. And so essentially his plan, like he's mentioned, he's just going to take advantage, do really bad things, so that way the devil will believe in him and be able to stop him and kill him.
You know what I like?
Huh.
I'm not getting political, but like I watch people like, oh yeah, the devil, he'll hide as someone you wouldn't suspect or hate. I think you watched a video with me and they're like, dude, we think it's Mr. Beast.
Oh,
everybody loves him.
He gives away stuff and prizes.
Yeah, it's
cars.
It's hilarious. He's like, I want to know this guy's skeletons.
Oh my gosh. I remember, I think it was at church at one point, they were talking about signs of the apocalypse.
Yeah.
And they were saying that when the beast comes, it's going to be repeated in like 3, you know how the 666?
Yeah, in 3s.
Yeah, it's going to be in signs of 3s. And one of the things that I read, it was like, oh yeah, it's going to come and it's going to become a thing that everybody needs, but it's really like evil and satanic, and they're like, and it's coming and it's gonna take over the world. And it was right around the time when like internet was becoming huge, and it was like the www.
Oh my god, you can find anything at any point in time that people like cell phones, internet, this now AI.
And I was like, oh shit, the internet is Satan. And I was like,
now I love this shit because it gives crazy people the fuel. Like, hey man, it's entertaining, and some of this shit's pretty badass. Like talking about it, I wish I got into it a little bit more, but I never really got into religion. That shit's funny though. And three's www.satanica.com.
You need internet for everything. It's taking over the world.
Oh my god.
I know.
I knew Ask Jeeves was Satan.
Ask Jeeves.
I knew Yahoo was.
It was helping you fucking cheat on your homework. Bad.
Oh my god. I remember Ask Jeeves, you had to spell everything perfect. If you had anything remotely wrong, it wouldn't even do anything.
Stupid Jeeves.
I know. I was like, fuck this shit.
What was the other one? Spark Notes?
Was it Spark Notes? I can't remember. I just remember Ask Jeeves was the original search engine.
I remember Spark Notes or whatever was like part of Word at one point where you would write things and have a little clipboard.
Do you remember Clippy?
That's what I'm talking about.
I love Clippy, dude. Everybody hates him.
Out.
I'm all about Clippy. I need to get a t-shirt of Clippy.
Oh my god, or a floppy disk.
Oh, dude. I watched a thing where kids don't even know what the fuck that is.
I remember that used to be on our school list.
A floppy
disk, so you could save your work.
Us too. I remember having the Oregon Trail video game on a floppy disk.
An Oregon Trail?
Yeah, Oregon Trail video game. It was so fun. I loved it.
That's crazy. I felt so cool with my floppy disk. It was blue. I was like, I'm saving all my work right here. I'm technological and shit.
Stupid. That's hilarious.
I feel like grown up, okay?
Ballin'.
Mm-hmm.
Where were we?
I forgot. So, Viana's giving it, and he's like, fine. I'll show you how to do it and call the devil.
You need a knife. You need this. And Jose Maria etches a satanic stuff into the knife.
Yeah, and then they need to draw a pentagram too.
Yeah, and he uses that knife to do that on the wood floor.
Yeah, they need like a psychotropic is what he called it.
A psychotropic, so drugs, hallucinogenic drugs. And luckily, Jose Maria had
acid.
Yeah, acid in the boxing gloves that we didn't mention that he's like, hey, these are for good luck in the car to the priest, and had the acid in them. And it's a bunch of it.
Yeah, and Cavan, he says something that's funny because he's starting to get frustrated with them because they won't let this go.
Yeah.
They're persistent, and he's like, you know what? He's like, my book is for gilipollas, which is the word used in Spain for dumbasses.
Yeah.
Who believe in this show. He's like, it's not real. And at this point, Angel, the priest, he hits him with a freaking cane, and he's like, no, like, keep going. Tell us what we're doing. I don't care what you think.
And he's like, fine.
They're gonna need 3 cups. They need maiden's blood. And then coincidentally, the doorbell rings and it's Cavan's girlfriend, Susana.
Yeah.
She rings the doorbell.
And this lady is like cartoonishly like shaped.
She has the curly updo.
Blonde hair, yes. She has a super skimpy dress.
I thought it was lingerie. I thought she was...
Kinda, and then her cleavage is just hanging out, like... It was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
They made this purposely, like, I think it was comedically, like, chosen like this.
Yes.
Because they used every opportunity, to seize it. It was hilarious.
And then far back, you hear Calvin yell at her, and he's like, run away! And she tries to, but by that point, it's too late. And so the priest, he follows her immediately, and he just keeps chasing her. And like right when you get to the last set of stairs,
and she's running in heels.
She falls and she just rolls down. So he goes up there like nothing happened, just grabs her by the legs. And
then it was my favorite part of the movie. He's dragging her up, and it's like thud, thud.
That's
thud.
all you hear.
Her head is hitting each stairway. It's like thud, thud, thud. And then he stops, and he over dramatically like grabs his face. He's like, like trying to be quiet because someone comes out their door.
Oh, the neighbor.
And there's
came
what
out.
Christmas song was
It's
playing?
Christmas music coming out of his.
Do you remember what song it was?
Nochebuena.
How does it go?
Christmas Eve.
How's it go?
I can't remember the song, how it goes, but I made a note that it was Christmas Eve music.
It's funny.
Yeah, so he drags her back inside Caban's apartment. And he's ready to fucking just like cut her in the throat, it looks like.
Yeah, and then the guy's like, no, you need pure blood from a virgin. And then the priest was like, oh, you're right.
No, and he was just like, so like, what? He's like, she's not a virgin?
Yeah.
And he was
He's
like
yes,
puzzled.
yeah, trust me.
It's not. And he's like, are you sure? And he's like, yes, I'm sure she's not a virgin. It's like, okay. So just telling you how naive he is to think that everyone.
Yeah, everyone's pure.
Yeah. So he's like, fine, I'm going to go find a virgin. And he tells Jose Maria to finish the pentagram.
And keep an eye on the two.
Which fucking hilarious. Like, you get a full look of Jose Maria's outfit. He has his whole, like, metal outfit going. And he has, like, cowboy boots on.
Yeah, his cowboy boots, his, like, bullet belt. It's hilarious.
He's running around. Yeah. So the priest, he goes back to the hostel. And then Mina opens the door. And again, the grandpa's just chilling in the living room, just completely naked. That's all he does.
In his robe.
Yeah, that's all he wears, just a robe.
It's hilarious.
And then Mina offers him a coffee. And he's like, sure, like, are you going to have some? And at first she's like, no. And then he's like, come on. He's like, you can keep me company. And she's like, fine, I'll make some. She's making him tea while singing a song about the Virgin. Again, more Christmas music.
Yeah, it's hilarious. And this is like one of the best Christmas movies ever. I think it's better than Elf.
Are you serious?
Oh, yeah, dude. Hands down.
So she's making coffee, and he just like nonchalant. He's like, hey, are you a virgin? And she's all giddy about this. And she's like, what?
He's like, it's okay. You can tell me I'm a priest.
Yeah. And she's like, no, it's not that. She's like, I'm not worried about the question.
Did Jose Maria tell you this?
I just wasn't expecting it. She's like, of course. She's like, I'm not doing anything until I get married. She gets a little fired up for a second. And then she's like, did Rosario ask? She's like, me and Jose Maria. Yeah, never, nothing. And then she goes off about him. She's like, he's a drug addict. He's lazy and he's fat and he's a pig. I was like, oh, shit. And while this is happening, the priest, he like cut up a bunch of pills and he put them in her drink. And he's just like, all right, drink your coffee, drink your coffee.
He's trying to be sneaky and he sucks at it too.
Yeah. And then finally, he's just like so honest and he's like, I need some of your blood.
Yeah, he doesn't even wait for the drugs to kick in. And she's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, and he explains that he needs blood from... He had a girl, but turns out she wasn't a virgin, so she was no good. He's like, I just need a little bit of your blood. And what would you do if someone came up to you and was like, hey, Richard, just give me a little bit?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
But people do that all the time. I do it for a living.
I know you take people's blood.
I know.
Are you a vampire?
Yeah, I'm just like, just a little bit of blood. It's okay.
Just a little poke.
Yeah.
Poke and probe.
But I don't have to drug them. They pass out on their own.
They willingly come and consent to you taking their blood.
Yep.
Nice.
But no, I would react like she's reacting.
And how does she react?
She starts flailing.
She grabs a knife and she freaked out. She starts running around and he's like, come on, it'll be really quick. No one's gonna find out. And she's trying to get away from him. And then at this point, the pills kick in.
Yeah.
And she passes out. And
she's in the hallway at this point, right?
He drags her down the hall and into his room.
No, to the bathroom.
Oh, to the bathroom, yeah.
And he goes in the bathroom, and then because Rosario, she's like, she looks out and is looking around, but then comes out to the hallway, and he's in the bathroom and with her, and then the uncle or the grandpa is sitting on the toilet just staring at him. He's like, what the fuck? And they have a conversation through the door. He's like, no, everything's okay.
Yeah, and she's like, have you seen, because the phone was ringing and she was yelling out for Mina to come and answer, but she never did. So at this point, she's looking for Midnight. She's like, have you seen her? And he's like, no. She's like, what are you doing with the lights off? He's like, oh, yeah. The
I'll
lights
turn it on.
need to be
And then you could see him
on.
through the window.
Yeah.
She's like, okay, that's fucking weird. And then goes back to her room. And then he ends up dragging. And he gets her kind of in the room. And then Rosario sees her legs being dragged in the room. She's like, oh, hell no. And she ends up calling the police. And she's like, whoa, there's like a lunatic, blah, blah, blah. And they don't do anything right away. And she decides to take matters in her own hand. Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And she grabs a shotgun, her husband's shotgun, out of the drawer. And at the end of the scene, you just hear the shotgun. And she's going to the room.
Yeah, and then for some reason, the priest is trying to wake up Mirna to take her blood. And he's like drawing blood from her neck. And then, yeah, Rosario comes in with a shotgun.
Yeah.
She doesn't ask questions. She just starts shooting at it.
Yeah, she's like, you murderer.
Yeah.
And then she fires, and the first one misses everybody, but then he rolls under the bed, and then she shoots again and shoots his ear off.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, cabron. And then they start battling it out. He has a cup of blood this whole fight, and he's holding on to it, keeping it upright. It's so cheesy. And she's throwing him into walls, throws him out the window halfway. He's dangling out there with the blood. And then somehow they go out the door because he tries to escape, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she catches him and then proceeds to kick his ass. But what's funny is when he gets kicked down the stairs, he has the blood in his hand, but all of a sudden, in between, like mid camera angle, the blood disappears out of his hand.
Yeah.
It was hilarious.
It was magical.
And then what happens? He like pushes her or something, and then she falls over the banister and then breaks her neck.
Yeah, in between the pushing and kicking, she fell.
And he then runs out the door with a syringe. I don't know where he got the syringe. He had it originally, but then he didn't have it when he left. But then he magically had it.
Mm-hmm. So the one thing that I did find when they did this whole scene where they both were rolling down the stairs.
Yeah.
He did pass out unconscious for a few minutes after
really?
the fall down the stairs. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
So we go back to Gavan's place.
Mm-hmm.
And Jose Maria, he reminds me of a toddler. He's just laying on the ground, carving the pentagram into the guy's floor with that knife. Then
he hears a thing, though, a noise outside, and then his car is like being set to be towed.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, I'll be right back. And then he runs out. Would you leave those two?
No.
That's fucking crazy. And he does, though, and then that's when Kavan is like, hey, trying to wake up his girlfriend. And he finally gets the statue to go with him, and he starts kicking her in the head. Like, he's like, God damn it, wake up.
Yeah. And then he did he wake up? I lost my place.
She woke up, and then she's grabs the knife and tries to cut him loose. But at this time, Jose Maria comes back with snacks, and he's chowing down on chips and shit. But then he sees, because then Kavan's like, go hide, before she could cut him loose.
Mm-hmm.
And then he walks through the door, and she's going to try to go through the door, but he catches her, and is like, they do a little run around the house.
Yeah.
And finally gets her back, and then like throws her on the ground, right?
Yeah, they chase around the apartment, and then the priest shows up at that time as she opens the door to leave.
Yeah.
And he has the gun now.
Oh, yeah, she opens the door, inside. And the shotgun again, it goes...
And then he goes back and makes a little concoction with the virgin blood that he brought back. So he mixes like...
And they cut little circle discs of bread.
Yeah, so they're doing a mimic on like when you go to church and you take the blood and wine of the blood.
But it's a seance.
Yes, but it's also when you go to church, Catholic church.
Like breaking bread or whatever.
Yeah, they kind of reminded me of that too.
Oh.
So he goes back and he dips his little rounds because they're circle too. It could have been just a piece of bread, but he cut them circular like how they do at church.
Yeah.
And he dips them in that mix of like blood and the acid and the water. And they all eat a piece, except for Susana. And then...
Yeah, and they stand so they got her in the bathroom tied up, but they all stand in the pentagram and they start doing the seance thing or whatever. And then they drink it and eat the bread. And then he's like, then what? And then he's like, well, you got to sign the document with your blood. And he's like, what document? And the guy's like, I have it right here. And then he's like, okay, sign it with your blood. And he does. And then he's like, now burn it. And he burns it. But then he's like, now what? What do we do? He's like, nothing. That's it. It's fake. It's stupid, right?
Yeah. And he's like, are you finally convinced? He's like, I told you, like, it's a book written. It's not real.
So this point on, though, of the movie, its interpretation, I think, in my point of view, they took a shit ton of acid. They start tripping balls because the first thing they see is at first it looks like a huge ass cockroach on the ground, and they're like, holy shit, whoa. And then it starts walking to him and it's just a regular sized cockroach, and it stops at the pentagram. They're like, oh my God, it's one of them, and it stops right there. But all of a sudden, comedically, they all turn their head to the other direction, and through that door, they look, and what's funny is the camera changes too, like the quality, like it's super grainy, and it's the goat that you kind of see in previous scenes, the black goat when the priest is walking through the town.
Yeah.
But it gets on its hind legs, starts walking like a human, and then the priest steps out of the pentagram, goes face to face with him, and just stares it down. And then the goat then gets back to normal stance and walks away.
And that's it.
Yeah, and then everybody's like, holy shit. But my point is, they had all this acid, so I think now they're just tripping balls throughout the rest of the movie. I don't think any of it's real.
Possibly.
I don't think any of it's real.
One thing about this scene right here that was funny, apparently when they brought in the goat, it was a real goat initially. And they had to film this scene a bunch of times because every time they would start, the goat kept peeing over and over all over this area. So then they had to clean up, reset, go back again, and they would start filming and the goat would pee again.
Right.
And then the other thing that was kind of cool is for the scene where the goat goes up on 2 feet, they used an actual person, and it was a handicapped person.
Okay.
And they made prostheses that were shaped like hooves. And then they put him on him, and then they grabbed him on strings and lifted him up so he was standing up on 2 feet.
Oh, so is this halfway mark of the movie, or is this a little over halfway?
I think this is a little over halfway.
Okay, because this is where it really starts getting long, where it feels like the movie is like too long. It could have kind of maybe another 30 minutes and it would have been good.
Yeah, and then at this point, Calban lets his girlfriend go home. He's like, nothing happened, just leave.
And she's like, what are you talking about? You're all fucked up. And he's like, nah, it's cool.
It's fine.
I'll call you tomorrow, I promise.
And then the priest, Angel, from the contract that he signed with the devil and burned, there were some letters that didn't burn through. So he's picking them out and trying to
decipher out what was supposed to be said. And they're like, well, there could be approximately like 4,686 or whatever possibilities.
Yeah.
But then Jose Maria figures that out. He's like, no, it's this.
Yeah, and it says this is not a game.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, shit. And then at this time, they're tripping balls. The door is being pounded on. And it's like cartoonishly being like it's bending, like
the door. Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, we got to escape. So they made the smart decision to go out the window. Keep in mind, they're in a super like tall building, and they're like at the top. Oh, yeah. They're in this penthouse.
And then they climb through. They essentially go around from one side of the building to the other.
Would you live in that house? Like, how could you live with those lights on, the Schweppes?
I don't know.
Neon lights? Because they're beaming through that the whole time.
Blackout curtains, baby.
He had no blackout curtains, though. That's what's fucking nuts. And they make noise. You could
this
hear
is
him.
annoying.
Yeah, you can hear the neon.
I couldn't.
I couldn't either. I'd fucking go insane.
Maybe he got used to it. Hmm. But yeah, so essentially, I don't know why this was their choice. Instead of confronting the police or whatever, they go out the building and scale this sign all the way to the other side of the building. And the entire time, Jose Maria is just off the walls.
And he's
high.
laughing.
He's laughing. Yeah. He can't stop laughing.
He's trying to jump off, and they got to catch him.
On and off. Yeah.
But at a certain point, then it gets really dangerous because then Kavan falls off, and he's holding on to Jose Maria, who's holding on to the priest. So they're all holding on together, but then Jose Maria and Kavan's grip is sweaty, and he starts to slip, and Kavan's like, no, and he gets let go, and then he drops pretty far down, but he lives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's alive. And then the priest and Jose Maria make it into the other side of the building.
Yeah.
And they easily climb in this other unlocked window. They run into this little girl, and she thinks it's Santa Claus that's coming in.
Santa.
Yeah, and then you see her parents, and she's excited to think that it's Santa Claus. And then Jose Maria, I don't know, I think it was the drugs throughout the rest of the movie. He's just very defensive of the priest. Yeah. And anyone that gets near him.
No, it was after that goat, dude. And then he's a real believer. He's like, holy shit. They have a mission to do.
Yeah, just very defensive up on people's face.
Yeah, because he's got to kill the Antichrist, man. They got to find it.
Yeah, so they go through. You see him knock over the little girl's dad. And there's all these cops at the building. And they're searching for them. And then an ambulance comes. They
storm upstairs, and they go to kick down the door. And they're they're 3 stories down at this point, and they escape out the side. They go through a little fire exit.
And the ambulance takes Galvan after he fell down onto the other side.
Yeah.
And for some reason, it seems like they release him pretty quickly, and he goes back to work.
No, he insists on going to work because he has to find the priest. The priest left him, and he's like, no, I need to find him. And then that's why he goes on TV. He's like, I need to get on air.
Yeah, and then was the other guy his assistant, producer? What was he?
Yeah, it was a team. It was just a team of people. He's
demanding him to get together a list of places where Satanists get together. And he's like, I need a list. It's an emergency. So all 3 of them, well, I guess Jose Maria and Calvan became more believers after this incident.
Well, yeah. Kavan is definitely, and Jose, they all now have one common goal. They all believe each other.
And then he goes on air, and some guy comes up to him. I couldn't tell if it was a fan or another team member asking him to sign the book. It was a fan.
He was a security guard. He was a fan, and he wanted the book to be signed for his kid and wife.
Okay.
And he plays kind of a dumbass, I don't know. They just kind of portrayed him to be kind of like, oh, so he keeps following him around. Kavan's not paying much attention to him, but he's like, okay, I'll sign this. And I forgot what he signs, though. He says something.
I can't remember either, but he does sign his book, and then he notices that, the cover of the book, one of the pages, there's a word that says Satan on it.
And then at this point, there's a bulb or something that bursts or breaks. On the ground, the water, it was like a water tank or whatever. It breaks right in front of them. Mm-hmm. And they're like, whoa, that's weird. And then he walks and sits down, but he takes that book. He's like, oh, give me that real quick. And he's looking through it. And he sees that signature. It's like Satana or Santana.
Satana, probably
And he's like, oh, but that's not the important part. He realizes that it's the markings are the devil. And that's how he realizes, because the devil always wants to be under disguise, like God. So the cross. Mm-hmm. And he explains this to the priest, and we'll get into it. Did all that go over your head?
No. Why are you looking at me like that?
I don't know. You look confused.
No, I'm following.
But yeah, he starts piecing it together. That's why he needs to find the priest. And that's why he needs to get on TV and warn him and tell him, hey, I'm figuring it out. which he figures out the location. But in this time, all this evil shit's happening because they see the goat or whatever. And then the dude, because he's like, I can't find my pen. Can I borrow your pen? It plays a part into that. So he signs the book with the security guard's pen. Well, the security guard goes away, but then he goes to where that thing broke, the water. And then the dude's pen, Kavan's pen, is on the ground. And then he goes to reach for it, but then he gets electrocuted because there's like live wire or something active, and it electrocutes and fries the guy. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what else? This is your movie. Sorry, I don't know. I'm trying to keep up.
So they are back on the street. The priestess, him and Jose Maria, they're kind of on their own.
So they're in the
looking for
crowd.
a signal.
Is this where they're running through the crowd? Or not yet?
Not yet. So they're kind of looking around again. He's just just concerned with his fucking symbols and looking for places where this is taking place. And then they find themselves at the lecture for the Nostradamus
Oh, that's
guy.
right. That we noticed earlier, the guy handing out flyers, right?
Yeah. And then this lecturer, he's going on and on. This guy used to be a clairvoyant. He predicted a bunch of stuff. He predicted Hitler.
No, this guy didn't.
Predicted
This guy didn't. He's doing a seminar.
Nostradamus.
Yes, it's Nostradamus. Everybody knows it's Nostradamus. And this guy's doing a seminar on it, but then the priest is like, he can't help himself. He can't contain himself. So he needs to speak out. And he's like yelling at him. He's like, no, this is bullshit. And everybody's kind of looking at him, not really doing much. But then the guy's like, hey, there's plenty of time for questions and statements at the end. But the priest was like, no, you need to tell me where he's at. And he's getting frustrated, wants to know where the Antichrist is going to be born. At this time, security guards come out and they're going to take him away. But then Jose pulls out the shotgun and then starts shooting in there. So the priest could get away.
And then they get away and they make it to a mall. And there's like a whole bunch of like festivities happening. There's like the three wise men. They're up on this stage. And people are coming and seeing them, taking pictures. And he's trying to get people's attention. So the priest climbs up there with the three wise men.
So this part, we forgot to say it, or I forgot to bring it up. When he's talking to Kavan earlier, he's talking about that, like the birth of Christ or whatever. And then they're like, well, who would be the three wise men? And the priest was like, oh, that would be us. And then this plays a part as like it's converting, like, because at this point he's on the stage and then those cops start opening fire. And then they end up shooting all those guys on the stage. And then it's just left is the priest. At this point, the priest and Jose, but they're kind of tying it together with Kavan too. Like they are the three wise men. They got to save the day. If that makes sense.
Yeah. And then
but to elude them at that moment, Jose starts firing the shotgun again.
Yeah, and there's
causing a stir.
Chaos. Everybody's running out of this place. And they manage to get out and they get into a taxi. And Jose Maria's arguing with...
It's not a taxi. They end up hijacking the car and like, drive. And the guy's like just an innocent dude.
Jose Maria's trying to tell the guy where to go. And on their way out there, the priest, Angel, he's trying to get out. And he says that he needs to talk to the lecturer back at the place, that he needs more answers from him. And as they're driving, he spots him on the street and he like opens the car door and he jumps out of it. And he runs after the guy and he's like, hey, dude, I have more questions for you.
So my favorite part of this movie too is the car scenes, because every car that they were in or they showed a main character in hit the brakes really hard. And like they did a dramatic like brake and skid to a stop.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and they skid for like 10 feet.
It wasn't a soft stop.
No, it's kind of funny. And the thing with the guy trying to stop, it's the guy from the seminar, right?
The one that they spot on the street?
Yeah.
Yes.
And he's like, hey, I'm not done with you yet.
Yeah, he has more questions.
And they end up getting him and they shove the shotgun in his face. Well, and the guy truly doesn't know shit. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, he wanted to know if this guy knew where he could find the Antichrist.
Right.
And finally, the guy, he's like, you know what? He's like, I'm just a charlatan. I don't know anything. And he runs away scared.
And at this point, the priest is like, he's kind of frustrated, and he's at this point, you can see he's kind of giving up hope, trying to find shit.
Yeah.
So they end up taking a break, so to speak, and they go to like a bus stop. And then Jose's like, no, we got to keep going. Let me find a car. And we'll figure it. You just got to stay here for 5 minutes. But before that, the priest starts talking about, hey, man, I did something. Your mom no longer is alive. And your grandpa is cool. And then but Jose doesn't care about his mom, really. He's like, is the girl that we got the blood out of? He's like, you killed her? He's like, no, she's very much alive. I just gave her drugs. But then he's like, that's cool.
Was she a virgin?
Yeah. And then he said something about his mom. Like, he's like, that's cool. I didn't like her anyways. There's some shit.
Yeah. And he says that he's going to be right back. He's going to go get a car. And then, so the priest is sitting there by himself at the bus stop, and then across the street, he sees this van or car pull up, and like this guys come out, and then they go and they like tag a wall.
It's the guys you seen earlier at that Quickie Mart.
And they tag a wall and they write the whole Limpia Madrid. They see this guy in the street.
And these guys, are they skinheads or are they Satanists?
I think they're supposed to be
Satanists.
They don't clarify whether they're
not skinheads because they're not bald, but they look like businessmen. I
don't think they're Satanists. I think they're part of this movement, the skinheads, but maybe they just didn't have them shave their heads or some equivalent of them.
Right. Okay.
But they find this guy and they just start beating him up, and then next thing you know, they fucking light him on fire, and they leave. And then here's this guy strolling across the road just on fire, and he falls right in front of the priest. And he flips him over, and he's wearing one of those Satanica t-shirts from the band. And I think that kind of ignites a little light for him. Like, okay, maybe there's still a sign. Like, it's still coming to him.
Mm-hmm. So they light him on fire and he walks to him. Yeah. Well, this is the evil shit that's happening to them still. Kind of like the dude who got electrocuted in front of Kavan. This guy gets lit on fire in front of the priest.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you said, he gets turned over, and this is where the priest gets the idea, right?
Yeah, so he goes to the concert venue.
Yeah, because the shirt says, you said it said Santanica?
Yeah, Satania, something like that. So he goes over to the concert venue, and there's just a bunch of people in there, and there's like a handful of these guys that are wearing the same t-shirt. And he goes up to one of them. He's like, are you one of them?
The bouncer. Or not the bouncer, but like the roadie, the guard.
Yeah, and he's asking if he's one of like the people that are part of the whole Antichrist thing, and they're like, I don't know, dude. Go talk to the bar, whatever questions you have.
But he's like, no, Santanica's playing tonight only.
Yeah. And then for some reason, these guys grab him and they drag him to the bathroom.
Well, no, because he walks back to the bar and there's a pregnant girl there.
Oh, yeah.
And he like grabs her and he's like, oh, this must be it. But then these guys see that and then they take him to the bathroom and just continue to beat the living shit out of him. They completely explode a toilet, like a urinal.
Beating him up.
Like that porcelain exploded. That was awesome.
And then you see Jose Maria. He finds his way in there and finds him. And he's like, dude, what the hell? So he picks him up and drags him out of there. And he carries him outside to the street. And he's like, I told you to wait. I said that I would be back like right away. And then they go up to a phone booth and they call Cabana's show.
Novia.
Huh.
You're losing steam, bro.
Huh. They called.
It's okay.
The Cabana show to talk to him.
No, so what happened was they seen it on TV and then he's seen the picture and the phone number, and then Jose Maria did, well, the priest was unconscious. And he's like, oh shit. So he goes and calls the thing. He's like, hey, I got him right here. Let's get us patched through. And then finally, Kavan gets the priest on the phone, and the priest thinks he's like, oh, you might as well just like have the police come and get me, because he thinks they're just bullshitting, that Kavan doesn't believe him, that he just wants to get him arrested. And then, but he's like, no. And then Kavan proceeds to go into explaining, hey, this is doomsday. This is the Antichrist is going to be born, and really gets in depth with what the priest was saying. He's like, now, do you believe me now? Like, cause he said it in front of like millions of people. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then what else?
And then the phone is running out of funds. And you can hear the little beeping come through that is going to die.
Yeah.
And he's yelling at him. He's like, dude, he's like, put more money on it. I saw the beast. Just, we need to talk about it. But the call drops. And the producer, he's like pissed about everything. That Cabana's just using their airtime for his personal gain.
And we shut down
crazy.
And we shut down Christmas like shows and shit for this.
Yeah, he's like, you're gonna destroy the show. Like, everybody's watching our careers, like, because you're fucking spewing.
Yeah, you're going crazy.
Crazy banana stuff. And then Calvana asks for a newspaper, and he's like, where the hell are we gonna find a newspaper? And he gets mad and just punches the guy.
Yeah, he's like, I need a newspaper. And he's looking for venues, because at this point, he has that tape in his pocket of Satanica. And he's like, oh, shit. And then he's like, I need a newspaper so I can look at the venues. And then he finds the venue they're playing at, because I think he knew they were playing. And then it was Inferno, hell. And then he ends up getting in his car trying to head over there, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he heads out, and he shows up at this building, and he's just pounding on the door. There's no one opening. And then on the side, you see the priest and Jose Maria, they're trying to break into a car.
And then the dude jumps in his car, and he's like, he stops beside him. He's like, vámonos.
Yeah, so they get in. And in the car, he's showing him everything. He's like, all right, here's all the research that I've done and everything that I've found since they got separated. He's like, there's signs. He's like, look at all these things. He's like, there are contracts and scriptures from like other times that he's done exorcisms. And just other fucking rituals. And he said that they were all Satan's signatures.
Yeah, he's like, look, really look at it.
He's like, do you see something weird? He's like, look at all the agreements. He's like, that he has been tracing them since like the 15th century.
Yeah.
And
throughout the course of time, it shows all these, and it's the same thing.
So
the same markings.
Yeah.
The markings I was talking about earlier, but the priest still doesn't see. He's like, so what? And then Kavan's like, hey, he's driving. He's like, take the wheel. And he completely like slides to the back, and then Jose Maria has to like slide to the driver's side. And then that's when they point out, he's like, look. And then he's like, okay, pull over, because the priest still isn't getting it. So then they're on a bridge, and he's trying to draw it out on the bridge.
Well, the other thing before they get there, he shows them pictures of the exorcism he did on the kid.
Yeah.
And he's like, look at his stomach. He's like, this is the mark of the beast. Like, every time that you see Satan, like his signature, there at the end, there's just two squiggly lines.
Yeah.
And even on the kid that was possessed at the beginning of the movie, it looked like scratches, but when you're comparing them to the signature, supposedly, it's the same thing. It's the mark. So yeah, so they pull over, and now Caban is scribbling on the wall trying to show him, and
he's like, I know. He's like, landmarks he's talking about. He's like, what's synonymous with God and Jesus Christ? And he's like, it's the cross. And then he's like, I was thinking about this. So he wants to fly on the radar, and he wants to be like mischievous and be considered like godlike. What do you do? And then he's like, look. And then he does the little scribbles, and he's like, it's a monument. And he's like, do you know what monument it is? And then he has driven them at this point to where the monument's across the street, and they could see it.
Yeah, there's this super big, like 2 tower buildings almost.
Yeah.
And then in between the two of them, it's like a comet. It's like one of those lights that you put up for decoration.
Right.
But it reminded me again, going back with the whole three wise men. Like if you're looking at the story of the Bible, three wise men following the star of the northern
Dude,
star.
That just I don't know that story, but now that makes sense. What you were talking about earlier.
So yeah, so that was their sign.
The three wise men.
The three
See,
wise
we put
men.
it together.
They show up there.
That's hilarious.
So it's a satanic Christmas story. See, it is a family story.
Soon. Now, when they walk in there, though, they hear a baby crying.
Yeah, so they get in there. There's
and this is kind of fucked up.
They walk in there, and then you hear a baby crying far away, and at the same time that they hear this baby crying, and throughout the rest of this scene here, you can hear a goat like bleeding on the background.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, you hear the baby crying, and you hear a goat.
Bah.
And then on a corner, it's supposed to be the baby being born into these parents, and they look like they're homeless. They just have like boxes broken apart on top of them as blankets.
Yeah,
because they're super poor. And again, back to the whole nativity
manger.
set. Mary and Joseph, Mary gave birth to Jesus in a stable. They were super poor as well. And Kevin's all excited, and he's like, holy crap, we fucking found him. And then in comes this guys that we've been seeing throughout.
Yeah, throughout, that caught that dude on fire. And they end up shooting that whole family. They just light them up.
They hit Kevin, and they just start shooting everywhere. And they shot where the family was laying.
Yeah.
So apparently that was not the original script. They were originally going to have actually the priest be the one to kill the Antichrist.
That makes sense.
But for some reason they said that maybe it was pushing it too much. So
hardcore.
they had
I think it was a little hardcore if they did do that. But it would have made sense.
Yeah. So they that was his whole purpose. He was trying to find him and kill him.
Because I do remember seeing it being a little anticlimactic. Like, I'm like, that's it?
That's it.
Like, it didn't show shit.
The other dudes killed
We've seen everything else. They've talked about everything else, but they didn't show it. Like, that's weird. And why didn't he do it? Yeah. That's what I thought. So that makes sense that was a rewrite.
And originally, I guess the plan was to have the family not just be homeless, but they were supposed to be traditional Jews. And that was also pushing it. So they're like, no, back and track.
That one I understand.
So there's a lot going in there.
This was a Christmas movie that was like original air date, like release date was Christmas Eve. So I kind of understand. Could you imagine, like, babe, I could totally see us in 1995, like, hey, we're bored. We got the day off tomorrow. Let's go see a movie. And we go see this shit. We would be stoked. But I think people in the movie theater with us would be like, what the fuck?
Like beat by beat copying the traditional nativity story, but with the Antichrist.
Hilarious.
Very interesting.
So
Alex de la Iglesia.
Yeah. So then these thugs are beating the shit out of Kavan, but Jose and the priest go up the elevator trying to escape, and their comrade's gone. They're like, fuck this, dude. Sorry, dude. And then they go up to go hide. Right?
Yeah. And
this is again where I'm thinking the LSD trip, because there's two guys up there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then one of them turns into the fucking goat devil thing.
Did he turn? I thought he was just next to him.
Yeah, no, it showed it. It showed him originally as a human, and then all of a sudden he was the devil thing. And then later, at the end, when the priest shoots him, he again turns into a human. Well, so the LSD, man, or the acid they were doing, they were just tripping balls. I'm thinking this was all like really criminal.
There was no Antichrist.
Yeah. Which makes it darker if you think about it. Anyways, continue with the story and continue with your version, what you think.
Yeah, they go up there. The priest manages to hide, but they spot Jose Maria. They shoot him. They start beating him up.
Well, he tries to distract. He's like, hey.
Yeah, and then the priest comes up and he finds a gun, and he's trying to go at this point. Satan has Jose Maria by the neck.
Well, so what happened to the other guy though? He gets like off the. Jose! No, Jose throws like a rock or a fucking thing at him up top there.
Right in the neck.
Yeah, and he falls down, and then it leaves the other guy that turns into Satan and picks up Jose Maria.
Yeah, he picks him up and takes him over the ledge, and the priest, Angel, he's about to go help him. And Jose Maria's like, no, don't do it. Just get out of here and save yourself.
Yeah, save yourself, run.
And he starts laughing. And I was like,
he's tripping. A badass. He's like, fuck you. And at this point, the priest is in the elevator, gets downstairs. But then, unfortunately, our boy gets dropped.
Yeah, he throws Jose Maria over. And then the priest gets downstairs. He gets out of the elevator and sees that those thugs lit Cavan on fire. So he runs over there with the gun, starts shooting at them, and puts out the fire.
Yeah.
And once he stops the fire, he's curious, and he goes over to the family that had the baby and lifts up the boxes.
And everybody's dead.
And they're all dead, and you can kind of make the shape of like a baby doll that they had there.
And but in the priest's face, you can kind of see he's relieved.
Yeah.
Like he's like, oh, thank God.
And yeah, like you were saying, there's a shadow where it looks like the devil is coming again.
And it's the goat. And then the guy's like, he doesn't even look behind him really either. He just shoots back.
And kills. And yeah, and when he does turn around, it's the guy. So is this saying that evil people are Satan, essentially?
Yeah, I feel like these guys are Satanists, but also I feel like this was all just a fucking drug dream, dude. Like they're just hallucinating hard, because at this point, all this fantastical stuff was happening after they took the drugs.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking they're hallucinating, and this is all part of it. And then at the end of this, so they move forward. The world
9 months forward.
Yeah, the world's saved, and now all of a sudden we see the show that Cavan used to be on, but it's a new guy, and he's like, "All right, my condolences are to the unfortunate happenings, the disappearance of the last host, but we love him. He was a close friend, and that's it."
And at the end, I put together, they call whoever's in this role in this character Professor Calvan, because he's like, "I'm the new Professor Calvan." He's like, "We're remembering." Ennio Lombardi was the actual name of the guy all along, who mysteriously disappeared 9 months ago. No one's ever seen him.
So they're sitting on a bench, and Cavan's all burnt up, and his face is messed up. But he's like, God, they didn't even get a good-looking guy. He can't even talk right. He's pissed off. He's like, that was my life. But they're pretty much homeless. They're hobos. Mm-hmm. And he's like, God, why can't we tell the world what we did? And the priest is like, nobody would believe us. Yeah. And even if we did, come on, let's go. And that just shows me that they still believe what happened, but I think it was a drug dream. Because then they walk and then they play happy, like, oh, well, music, like a joke music.
The priest has like the little boxing gloves that used to be Jose Maria's.
Yeah. And he's in normal clothes now, but yeah, they're done, man. Like, obviously the priest sold his soul. Like, he can't go back. And now they're just living life as pretty much criminals.
One thing that I found interesting, so they walk in the park by that statue.
Yeah.
It's considered at the time, it was considered one of the few public tributes to what they consider Satan in the world that the movie came out, because the statue is supposed to depict a fallen angel. Lucifer is a fallen angel as well. Oh. But coincidentally, the one thing, I guess there's other like monuments around the world where they said that it's supposed to be the devil, but this one in specific, it just happens to be 666 meters above sea level, and it's located in El Parque del Retiro in Madrid.
Oh my God, 666.
So during the filming of this movie, the crew and the director did receive several death threats from so-called satanist groups because they felt that the movie was making fun of their beliefs and their practices.
I could see that. Babe, you know what we didn't cover?
Huh?
The budget.
I know.
This movie, why didn't you bring it up? This movie was made on a modest budget of 300 million Spanish pesetas, and that's around 2 million.
Okay.
So, but what did it gross?
Hold on.
It was a Spanish-Italian co-production showing in broad appeal and diverse funding sources.
It grossed My papers flew away.
Mm-hmm.
No? Not this one. Sorry, I had a lot of notes. I don't know where my budget went.
Yeah, I'll find it.
The other thing with the movie, I guess most of the rituals that were used were real satanist rituals that were done and they were not altered. They did have a hard time finding funding due to the themes in the movie being so dark and so satanic and mocking Christmas and all of that stuff. Again, like I mentioned, originally the priest was supposed to kill the Antichrist and it was supposed to be born into a gypsy family.
So it grossed approximately 4.37 million euros. That's around 4.8 million.
Okay,
at
so
the box
doubled
office.
almost.
Yeah, so it made money.
Yeah. And then the last thing, of course, a lot of the religious community was highly offended at the movie and the theme as it was released on Christmas Day. So at the time,
that's a pretty ballsy move.
Took a little bit of a hit because people were not happy that it was coming out on the same day.
Hilarious. But when are you going to release this Christmas movie?
Yeah.
You can't do it in the summer. We're talking about in the summer, which was dumb on us. We should have saved this for Christmas.
But when our...
Christmas in July, baby.
Do, 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 do.
And that's the end of the movie, right?
Yeah.
So how'd you feel about this movie?
I like
Did
it.
your opinion and thoughts change after our extensive talk?
No, I feel like the theme overall is pretty good, for what it was at its time when it came out.
Yeah, it doesn't drag
Being
on.
his second movie. At the end, I feel like it dragged a little bit when they start running around. They maybe could have done more with it. The priest, explained his cause over and over. He beat it till the drum could no more.
What character would you find yourself being in this if you were cast in this movie?
If I was cast in this movie,
yeah,
I don't know.
I think you could play the part of Jose Maria.
Ooh, hell yeah!
The sidekick.
I wish he was fun.
Yeah,
he seemed like a good time.
I think I could do the priest pretty well.
Really?
But I really think I could.
You're not fucking naive, Richard.
I think I could really do the sidekick.
Like Jose Maria. I think it could be Jose Maria.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one too. Or I could be the grandpa.
About oh my god, just chilling around naked.
Yeah, I think I could do the role of Kavan better. Not as good as him, but I think I could do it good.
And doing exorcisms.
Yeah, and I'm pretty suave.
You're pretty suave.
Rico suave.
Rico.
Yeah.
Do, 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 do.
So what was your favorite kill?
Suave. There was not a ton of kill. Oh, I do have one. The priest at the beginning.
You like the priest?
It's like heavy as the cross. Bang.
Bam. I liked when the Antichrist died. That was cool.
You didn't want him to succeed?
Well, no. Not in this movie. I wanted the priest to succeed.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I like that one. What would you rate this movie? And a real rating. Like, you can think about it.
I can think about it? What are you rating it?
I'm going to give this movie... I enjoyed the premise. I enjoyed the story. It dragged on. The pacing was terrible on it, to be honest. It was hard to slog through the end of it. So for that, for much of the movie, it was a 4, but then it dropped down to a 3 for me. They didn't end it right. It was slow. They could have ended it 30 minutes earlier, in my opinion.
Touche, my dude.
So I give it a 3. It's modest. It's not bad. It's good.
Yeah. I think I'm right there with you. A 3.
Yeah. And then once I actually got to see it like a second time, putting that humor together, it takes a second. Like, I had to understand it, like that point in time, and the humor really is funny once you dive into it. And it's like, oh, that's silly. I like the silliness of this.
Yeah.
So yeah, I all around, I give it a 3. It was pretty solid. I enjoyed it.
You enjoyed it.
Do we want to get to our segment? Everybody's favorite segment for some reason.
Because we're not talking.
One of us isn't. everybody's favorite segment. So without further ado, let's get her in on this. Viana's Review Corner. Wah, 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 wah. And I'll be right back. I'm being kicked out.
You're getting kicked out?
It's not fair.
Who's kicking you away?
Not fair.
Richard's just trying to escape. He's drinking water if he can get his life together. Hello, Camila. No comment.
Yeah.
Why are you so quiet?
Because I'm tired. I told you.
Oh.
They forced me to be here. I'm just kidding. I'm joking. Don't call CPS.
I'm paid.
Please help me. No, I'm kidding.
How are you today?
Good. How about you?
Good. How's your summer going?
Boring.
Boring?
Yeah.
You haven't taken any invitations to leave the house.
I know.
You know?
I've been thinking about like doing stuff with my friends, but yeah.
You guys are poor planners.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dia de la Bestia. Did you watch it?
No, not really.
Not really?
No.
Was there a reason you just weren't interested? You didn't like it? You didn't care for it? You didn't have time?
No, it was just my phone.
Oh, that's the real reason.
Yeah.
Are you a phone kid?
No. Maybe you made me. No, I'm just kidding. Kidding.
Have other people watched this movie besides us?
No.
No,
My
not your
grandparents.
friends. I'm talking about the reviews.
Oh, yeah. My bad.
Yes. Did you find us any good reviews?
Yeah, I have 16 reviews.
16? Holy
Yeah.
smokes. Okay.
So someone gave it 4 stars and a heart and said, "This was a blast, fits in so much during its runtime, and a lot of that is funny, violent, shocking, and randomly thrilling. You could argue it gets a little baggy in the second half, and after all of that effort to get to the finale, there was something a little anticlimactic about it, but overall it was too odd and fun to resist. Oh my god. Sorry, I can't talk today. Delightfully devilish Seymour."
Nice.
Yep. And then someone gave it 3 stars and said, "Why are goats and metal music always symbols for Satanism? I get that this movie is parodying that misconception, but where did it even come from? Anyway, this was hilarious."
Yeah. That is true. We would see in a lot of movies with goats and devil in them.
Maybe because it's different, and maybe because back then stuff started about the goats that was like that.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Classically, it has horns
Yeah.
and hooves. It's an animal.
Mm-hmm. I wasn't expecting to wake up and watch the greatest movie ever this morning, but here I sit, face melted. 5 stars and a heart.
Dang. Okay.
The perfect Christmas movie, 4 stars.
It is a good Christmas movie. Oh, you agree?
Yeah. I think Alex de la Iglesia is my new favorite director. 5 stars and a heart.
Did you hear some of the other movies that he's made, directed? There's a couple on there I want to watch.
Someone said, "Damn, The Day of the Beast was a nice surprise. Great story and good execution, decent acting, and of course it was bloody hilarious. Highly recommend dark comedy. 4 stars and a heart."
Nice.
Yeah. The entire process of trying to summon Satan and the ceremony itself in particular is batshit cinema at its best. And they gave it a heart. Someone else said, "Such a wild and zany ride. I recommend it to people who want something weird yet fun." And then someone else said, "I'm confident in calling this a Christmas movie. 3.5 stars."
So everybody agrees.
Yeah.
It is Christmas feeding.
None of the humor seemed to land for me or got lost into translation. What a shame. 2.5 stars.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. There's so much punching in this movie, but it also slaps. 5 stars and a heart. Potential to ascend to all-timer status. Going to rewatch this as a Christmas horror during the Yuletide
Nice.
season. Average day in Madrid. 3.5 stars and a heart. Just a typical Spanish Christmas day. 4 stars. There's a scene that randomly hard cuts to a naked old guy's balls. This movie rips. 3.5 stars. Where has this movie been all my life? 5 stars and a heart.
Nice. So overall, all the reviews that you have,
Yeah, they're pretty positive.
were 3 or higher. Did you find any where they were just shitting on it and just pooping on it?
No, not really, except for like the 2 stars.
The 2
and there was
star-
just one of those and one like 3 stars. But besides that, it's like 4 stars and up, really.
Nice. If people love it, it's a classic. I'm glad we ran into it or we found it. It's going to become a Christmas movie for us as well.
So I heard you guys are doing a giveaway. How's that going?
Yeah. It's the first day and it blew up. I don't know what happened. I'm anxious. Richard says that I have to count.
Oh, stop it.
But no, I mean, it's awesome. It's exciting that so many people like Jason stuff. There's like the comments are in the 200s, the tags of people. Really? Oh my God. Thank you guys. Thank you for the support. It's running through for another week and a half. So you guys have a chance to go and enter for the giveaway.
And where can they enter?
They can enter on Instagram at Horror Cinema Obsession. Like, comment, follow, tag a friend.
When does the giveaway end?
August 15, you said it? 16. And then we'll be announcing on the following Monday, the 19th.
Viana's ratings?
She didn't watch the movie, so she had no rating.
You were sitting there.
I was on my phone.
That's
All
it.
right. What movie you guys thinking about watching next week?
It was Rob Zombie's Halloween, 2007. Are you excited, Viana?
Yeah.
Yeah. Since you like Rob Zombie. Favorite ever. And what's his wife's name? What's her name?
Cheryl Moon Zombie.
Is she in this movie too?
Yeah, she's in every Rob Zombie movie. I'm fascinated that our review corner doesn't actually watch the movies. Again.
You don't pay her enough.
Oh my God.
To have a rating of her own.
I appreciate it.
We
Hey, I don't blame her on this one. It was kind of a slog fest sometimes at moments.
We pay her in ices and sugar cookies.
I know. So yeah, we covered the giveaway again. Exciting. But the real prize, we're giving away a trip to Orlando, Florida.
Hawaii.
I'm kidding.
You're kidding.
Yeah.
You're lying to our listeners.
Yeah, I'm a liar. I'm a low-down dirtbag.
Hardo.
So, guys, I just want to apologize if I was a little lackluster this episode. It's really hot in our bunker. Hopefully this is we got a couple more episodes in this hellhole, and then we'll be into better places. Right?
Huh?
Do you have anything else you want to add?
Yeah, ratings from the critics and the peoples of the internet.
Oh, shit. Oh, I'm trying to wrap it up. Oh, yeah, I'm curious. I do have notes on that.
IMDb, 7.3 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes, 77%. And overall Google users that rate it, 90%.
Yeah, IMDb, 7.3 out of 10. And that's 10,000 user ratings. That's fucking amazing. And then my Google users, I found, was 89%.
Mine rounded.
Yeah. So The Day of the Beast is widely praised for its dark humor, unique blend of horror and satire, and strong performances. It's considered as a cult classic and continues to be appreciated for its innovative storytelling and bold direction by Alex de la Iglesia. This film mix of absurdity and horror makes it stand out in the genre, and it has maintained a loyal fan base over the years. And I'd have to agree on that. It's fairly good. I think it's going to be a good Christmas movie. I think it's going to grow on me even more every year we watch it.
I think once you learn more of the Spanish, you're going to be teeing away.
I know. Baby Chancho, a.k.a. Armando. He's going to love
Armando.
it. Oh, you don't like Armando?
I know too many Armandos.
Oh, okay.
Even the director had a religious...
Is our kid going to be named Steve? Like, are we settling on... I hate Steve.
Even the director had a religious name. His name is Alex de la Iglesia, Alex of the Church.
Ooh, Iglesia's Church?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know that.
No.
Albano and Iglesia.
His name's going to be Tom.
Whoa, turkey.
After Tom Skerritt, your favorite
Oh
actor.
shit, dude, the goat. Okay, I can get behind that.
Just kidding. That's too basic. I'm just kidding. It's
Wow.
common. It has to be unique.
I know, Chancho. What is it? Hammer? Kirk Hammer. It's Kirk Hammett, babe.
Kirk Hammond?
Oh my god. Oh my Lenta. Okay. Let's wrap this shit up. Maybe we can have oh shit, we're at 2 hours and 40 minutes. Let's wrap this up.
Like, follow, subscribe. Hasta luego.
Lugosi. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Horror Cinema Obsession. We hope you had as much fun as we did. If so, help spread the word by leaving a rating and review wherever you listen to podcasts. And join us next time for another episode of Horror Cinema Obsession.